Yo, what's going on, everybody? I am AK Eagles, and this is the AK Eagles podcast. I may not fuss, I may not cuss, but remember, I'm always driving the bus. Appreciate y'all coming out and enjoying me tonight. Just want to do a live, gonna do a call in for everyone here too, so you can get on and talk a little football as well. Um, but yeah, just want to talk about the direction we're going to go here in 9 days in the draft. Want to talk about some Eagles in general, this team so far, the quarterback position, wide receiver, all that. I have I have sent out some links already to a couple friends of mine, and one of them is sitting backstage right now, and he's a very close friend of mine, Papa Sora. Welcome to the show, man.
Wait,
Appreciate you, sir.
Let me pull the Kyrie real quick.
Yo, what's good, BLSG? How's it going, man? Appreciate you, sir. Yo, Big D, thank you, sir, for joining. Appreciate you, man. Doing good. Hope everything's going okay. Yo, Luke, what's going on, man? Appreciate you for stopping through, man. Please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe if you already haven't. Trying to get to 1K as soon as possible. Appreciate everyone for all the support so far through everything and the brand change and all that. And ladies and gentlemen, I got another guest. All these guys are fashionably late as always. Another.
Well, hang on now. I was there. I was on time.
No, you were not here before I went live, so you are late.
Well, all right. Listen, as I hopped on, your intro was going on. Okay. Plus, I had to scroll up and find the link. It was
Okay.
a mess.
Okay. So this next guy, he is also another Eagles content creator and another friend of mine. It is my boy Jerry Lee. Appreciate you, sir. Thank you for coming in.
What's going on, guys? Sorry I was a little late. Watching a little bit of baseball there.
No, you're fine, dude. You're fine. It's all good. I understand. But no, I appreciate you guys taking your time out of your evening here and to spend some time talking some Eagles football.
He says that like
it's been a while
to do.
So
I only do my show on Saturdays now. You know what I mean? So busy.
So I gotta say, guys, I want to start out with this because this seems to be the highlighted topic for the last couple of days. Our quarterback position.
Not at all. I thought we were going with. Okay.
Listen, there is a lot of people out there who suspect Matt Corral. I'm not sure, which way you guys are, but I want to talk about this. I want to know, there is people out there, and I hope there's some out there tonight to come in that are just want to start over. I heard some people last night in some other lives say, Jalen Hurts is not Nick's guy. He did not draft him. So is he technically sworn to him?
God, man.
No. So I want to get people's takes on this. I want to know is are you one of those guys you just don't really care, or do you want it to be Hurts, or truly, let's be honest here. There is no bullshit. No, let's just shop talk it out.
Well, of course I care. I'm an Eagles fan.
Right.
But, I mean, Hurts gets another year. And after that, then, the guessing game starts. But if we do take a quarterback, I don't believe it'll be in the first. We'll just put it that way. Because we have too many other glaring needs.
Yes.
And they already said that Hurts is the man. So, I mean, I'm going to go off what they say for now until otherwise proven.
And I understand that. I do. I think if you would take a quarterback in the first, it completely dictates the move that you made with the Saints. Like, we obviously know you push that first round back to next year in case this does not work out, right?
That's your insurance.
So if you already have a plan to take a quarterback next year, taking one this year is just kind of absurd. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because you already have a plan. So there's no reason to take one now if you already know you want to take one next year. I mean, that's the way I look at it. But there is people out there who, like I said last night, they're like, hey, it's not Nick's guy. What are the odds that they do something? Listen, we have seen this organization do some crazy things, and we're all worried about it. 500, he had a dream that we do it, that we do trade up and take one. I mean, anything's possible. I don't want to see it, but that's why I'm giving everybody their time to get on here and talk. And
Man, that guy's clickbaiting the hell out of everybody.
I was
Come
about
on,
to say
now.
500 also literally came on your East. East meets. I almost said Nice.
I know.
East meets West, and says back when we had 3 first-round picks that he was going to take them all and trade up to like 6.
Listen,
I
we're not
support
going
the
there.
dude out there grinding. I never say that, but yeah, no, I ain't taking 500 dreams seriously.
I want Davison Booth Jr. at 15 and 18, and Christian Watson at 51. Yeah, no lie, man. Like that is everyone's like perfect draft right there. Probably whether that's Bell, whether that's Watson, whether that's Ross. Any of these second round wide receivers. The one from Clemson. Yeah. I've actually become very fond of him lately, man.
I have become very fond of Alec Pierce out of Cincinnati. I think he's
Yo, what's going on East Coast, everyone?
If we don't do what
If you
I
have
think
not,
we're gonna
please
do,
sub to this guy and go check out his content. Dude is very knowledgeable. Love having him on the show. Definitely, man. If you want to come back on and jump on and talk some football, you are more than welcome. I will be dropping a link here in a minute. Nina, how you doing? Appreciate you for stopping through. Thank you so much. Would love to know how you think the draft is going to go. What's your first 2 picks? So if you're still in here, let me know what you think. Yo, what's going on, Drew? How you doing, sir? Appreciate you. Scoob, how's it going, man? What's happening? Doing good, man. And further AM, how's it going, bro? But yeah, no, Papa, how are you on the Jalen Hurts thing, man?
I think, and not a lot of people remember this, when Nick was on the Colts brought Jalen in for an interview. So Nick had previous experience with him and has talked to the dude before he took the Philly job. I think he made the trade. I think the trade with the Jets the trade with the not the Jets. What the fuck? The trade with the Saints lowered your chance of getting a QB because that is your insurance policy just in case. And with all of these rumors going out, I think you see, and this is where I thought we were going to lead to. I think you'll see a trade for a guy like a AJ or a Debo. Will it happen? I don't know, but I think they're set up for it now. And with all of these guys, and even a McLaurin, but with all of these guys that are like, I'm not joining, screw you.
I don't know, man. I think Kyle Hamilton's. I'm sorry, I'm talking to one of the guys in the chat. I think Kyle Hamilton's the best linebacker in the draft.
Well, considering the fact that Kyle Hamilton's a safety, that would be kind of weird.
What?
I was saying, considering the fact Hamilton's a safety, that would be kind of weird.
Well, linebacker, safety, whatever.
I get what you mean. But yeah, no, I kind of think that's where we're going with. At least that's what I'm hoping. Because again, you had Ridley for a third, so I don't know. I feel like, especially with all the cryptic tweets AJ Brown has been putting out, with all the stuff that's been going on with Debo and even his brother commenting, it's just like he definitely could play linebacker. That is 100% true, gridiron. But I don't know. I feel like something could happen.
He's big
I feel
enough.
like you will see a trade, one of the first be trade for a wide receiver rather than draft a guy. And then I don't know. If you're lucky enough to keep 15, then maybe it can be a Davis or a defensive tackle. But if it's 18 that you have, maybe you trade back, get more picks, and then you can get a Elam or a Booth. That's where I kind of see things going with.
I'd rather have
Well,
Kyler
Thank you.
than Booth.
Thank you. I didn't even have to pay this man.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna ask that question. Like, what do you guys feel? Do you think for the most part we just kind of sit still, or do you think we use 15 and move up, and we use 18 and move back, or do we make multiple moves?
It depends on who's where, you know what I mean? But I'm definitely willing to move up for either an edge or or a cornerback, or even a linebacker or safety, whatever, you know what I mean?
I don't think
Whoever's
you'd
on the
have to trade
board,
up for a linebacker. I really don't think you'd have to trade up for a linebacker.
I don't think so either.
That's personally, to me, and this is probably insinuating Eagles don't draft a linebacker in the first. I don't think you see a linebacker till probably early 20s, maybe 18.
You think so?
I
We'll
don't
see.
I don't think you see a linebacker taken. Yeah.
We'll see.
Maybe the Chargers probably would be the earliest because I just don't see Eagles taking one at 15. But I originally thought 15 was going to be a pick that if Howie sees a guy falling, he's going to use that and like one of the thirds we got from the Saint and do exactly what he did with Devonte. Jump up, there's a guy falling, jump up and get him. But again, it could also be for all these disgruntled wide receivers. And to answer Drew Johnson's question, no, I don't think that is going to scare Howie off. I don't think it is because, and yes, this is the story of the entire off season. We've seen them push big numbers. We've seen what did they offer Kirk? 14 a year, and instead he went for 17 a year.
17.
Yeah. So I mean, that was pretty big. 17 a year is definitely a lot. So of course Kirk chose that, and then there was the
Well, he wasn't good enough to spend that kind of money on.
No, I know, but right now because
Now,
I'm
if it
saying-
was like Debo, I could see him spending 17 on. You know what I mean?
yes,
But
100%.
That's a whole different animal.
I know,
I'm
but
not
it's
even
because of how
talking about the
football
price.
is right now and
Yeah.
how the game is built and how it is a passing league. Wide receivers are being really doted on right now.
Yeah.
And a lot of them tend to get overpaid because of that. And that is definitely what happened in Kirk's case. They need wide receivers. He was one that was available, and they overpaid him because it's a wide receiver league right now. It really is.
I mean, wide receivers think they should be getting paid like quarterbacks. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that's their feeling.
You also got to think about how Hassan Reddick took we'll say a discount to come play with Philly. AJ
Mhm.
Brown
He
and
wanna come
Jalen Hurts
home.
are like the best buds. You don't think he wouldn't take a discount to go play with his buddy?
No, money's money.
Yes, I know, but you don't think he wouldn't. Yes, but
depends
for
on the
the year, you don't
situation,
think
really.
he'd be like, yeah, and then what's its face? Talk on later. I feel like you would see an AJ Brown be like, I still want money, but I'm not asking for like a lot because I do want to play with my buddy. Because while yes, money is money, you do got to look at bonds as well.
That is true. I mean, Devonte Adams kind of undercut a little bit to go play with
his
the
old
Raiders, to go
teammate,
play with, Derek Carr. So,
discount to play for his home team.
I mean, it wasn't much of a discount. Let's be honest. I think that Green Bay offered him. Green Bay did offer him like 30, but he went for like 27 to the Raiders, right? I think it was 27 mil a year, right? Or 27 million. Yeah. So
Howie also is known to spike the cap. It could be like 1 year you're getting paid this much, it's mediocre, and then the next year it's like, all right, there's your pay right there. So I don't know. I can see.
He's frugal, not cheap.
He's very sensitive. I'm not lethargic.
Oh man, that would be awesome if that happened, Marcus. But unfortunately,
Man, we need to get something. Like the Honey Badger needs to sign. Somebody needs to sign. You know what I mean? Before
I'm
this
telling
draft,
you,
or
man.
during the
That man
draft.
keeps using green hearts on his tweets. I'm gonna lose my mind.
Really?
appreciate you, Richie. Thank you,
Looking
sir.
at the numbers, I'm pulling like a Doctor Strange. I'm seeing all there's the one universe where we all get what I want or what we all want.
What a
Listen,
wide receiver.
I
Yeah,
have mentioned this many of times. If I were the GM, I would have us another Super Bowl by now.
I gotta ask because you guys are talking about it. What are you willing to give up for Debo?
Dillard, maybe one, the lowest one.
18.
Yeah,
It's going to take a lot more than that.
maybe a two actually.
More than
A
that.
two in Dillard.
I'm
Do
not
you
gonna fight.
realize what Tyreek Hill got given away for, right? Well,
Yeah,
Debo,
but he's not Tyreek Hill.
it don't matter. He's way younger, and he even though he's only been playing a little bit, he is proven. You're going to give up like Tyreek Hill payment to get Debo. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
but he's not scoring like Tyreek Hill though. You know what I mean? Like
Yet.
I think Tebow. Well, that's why there's a little bit of difference there because you know exactly what you're getting. You know what I mean when you get that guy and not Tebow Samuel. That's the difference. That's the only difference.
I'm not gonna
And
lie. At
that's
first,
why
I thought you said Tebow, and I got really, really excited and also confused.
No, no,
I was like, Tebow's getting paid Tyreek money. Hold up.
no. But I mean, in all honesty, man, you're probably giving up two, if not three, almost three firsts for him. You'd have to give up two firsts, maybe 2 seconds, maybe 1 second or
I'm
1/3.
tapping this next year.
Like it's going to cost you. It's not going to be cheap. I mean, I understand he hasn't done anything spectacular yet, but you have to realize he was 70% of San Francisco's offense. 70%. Like that's incredible. So
that's because they ran it through him like that. You know what I mean?
But that's because he's that electric.
That's
he is that good.
If I was your GM, you would have Debo over Andre Dillard. I was banging the table to get him in the first.
Yeah, no, you'd have to almost give up the farm.
We wouldn't be having this conversation. There would have been a statue of me by now. A fucking statue.
Yeah, you would probably have to give up 18. You'd probably have to give up the Saints first next year. You'd have to give up probably a third this year.
Howie ain't doing all that.
I would go with baseline first, fourth, Dillard, maybe a second next year. That would be my baseline.
You know Howie ain't doing all that.
Well, I know, but still.
It's
Again,
too much.
That's why I think AJ is more of a possibility. Again, he's got that friendship with what's his face? Hurts. Listen, if Howie was able to get Ridley for a third, I'm sure Howie's gonna find some bull to get whoever he wants.
Do you guys think that Ridley's an option still next year after his suspension?
Probably. I mean, why not?
I still would have made the trade. I'd have just been like, listen, can I just give you like a fifth or something now? Like, he can sit for a year. That's fine.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't know if it's going to happen because I think we're probably going to get a receiver in the draft. So,
yeah, I feel like
it's going to be pointless. It'll be pointless for him.
The only way that would happen is if they don't, and they're like, our starting three is going to be Devonte, Quez, and Pascal.
Why you got to bug me?
I don't think that's going to happen. In all honesty, I think us taking Jameson Williams and at like.
You want to run the
I do like Jameson Williams. If Garrett Wilson is there, though, I know he's only 6'1", 6 foot. I would definitely take Wilson though.
Yo, what's going on, Ghost?
What's up, guys?
What's going on,
man? How's it going?
I just got done eating some Chinese food, and I feel like absolute crap now.
Bottom dragon.
I just made Chinese food for lunch tomorrow.
What was it though? Sweet and sour chicken? What?
No, it was chow mein fat or chow mein low or whatever the hell it's called.
No.
The little rice noodles with the vegetables in it. It tasted like sour
mein?
water.
Where was it from?
Some Chinese
Ramen noodles.
Yeah. I'd rather have ramen noodles at this point,
Right.
man.
Well, I assumed it wasn't gonna be like a PF Chang's or something, because usually they don't got that quality.
PF Chang's.
That's
You
not
ain't-
the
you-
quality. They are the quality.
PF Chang's, dude. You're not getting delivered. You going there?
No, they deliver PF Chang's. At least
Yeah.
where I'm at.
You can
Really?
get like the little tempura fried like green beans and stuff, which is not
No.
Chinese food. But
Right.
No, I just get the beef and rice.
oh, the
So-
Mongolian beef.
Oh,
That's the best.
That's what I was making for lunch tomorrow, because I was like, I got leftovers, but I want to make lunch. So I
Right.
made some scrambled eggs, got the new. It's not a new setup, Slay. I'm literally on a laptop because I don't trust my Wi-Fi on my desktop.
So East Coast, you were in that conversation I was talking about earlier, about Jalen Hurts and Pickett and Willis and, even Corral. Why don't you talk about a little what you guys were talking about last night?
Shit, but I kind of like it.
So basically it was, what's the outlook on Jalen Hurts and, what his struggles have been, and just kind of get an explanation from, what I see on how he's performing. And I, like I've said in a couple of live streams, even on yours, and, I feel like I've been repeating myself at this point, but I just think that Nick Sirianni's play calling, is not helping Jalen Hurts develop. But it was his first year, so it's like one of those things. It's like, should I give him a slap on the wrist, or, are we going to expect it to change a little bit? Because he's not going to improvise. I mean, Jalen Hurts has never been one just to go out and improvise. You've seen the interview about the Dallas Goedert miss. He's definitely going to defend the play calling like 100% of the time, right? So you either take the Lincoln Riley approach and design everything around him and just say, hey, do like the Ron Rivera back in the day with Cam Newton. Do what you got to do to win the game. If you do that, you might have success. But I'm sure you guys would like to see more, ballsy and risky play calling just to see what could happen. You guys have a ton of speed on your team, and Jalen Hurts is a pretty good thrower down the field than people give him credit for. But when you're not able to improvise, and it's just like, all right, I know who I have to read. A lot of people say he's a first read quarterback, but I really think it's just the play calling design. And, like I was saying yesterday, you don't have this fantastical or like, exotic offense when you're only under center 25 times. I mean, any of us could be a defensive coordinator and game plan against, what Nick Sirianni's doing every week on offense. It's like, all right, well, if he's under center, they're probably going to pass the ball, not run a sweep or a counter or anything like that, even though they were, number one in the rushing game, but they're doing that out of play action and doing that out of, shotgun approaches. And as I said, it's, Nick Sirianni's offense is that horizontal down the field, throw a receiver down there and see what he can do in a lot of intermediate routes, which is never how Jalen Hurts remotely even shined, even at Alabama. So, that's kind of my outlook on him. I mean, I'm a big Jalen Hurts fan. I mean, that's the only Eagles jersey that I own in my closet, and I have plenty of jerseys from every single team. So, but I want him to do well. I thought he should have been the Heisman winner the year that he was at Oklahoma. That's how good I thought he was. If you're talking about the best player in the country, that was him. But you really need to.
The same year Burrow was, right?
It was the same.
Oh yeah,
year.
Burrow out of that God season, man. Like
Yeah,
it
was
LSU.
him, Burrow. Who else was that in that class? I mean, it's just one of those things where it's you can't compete with what Joe Burrow had on offense. I mean, Jalen Hurts had CeeDee Lamb, so and I still think CeeDee Lamb was the best receiver in that year as well. But you can only do what you can do. So I just hope you guys don't see more of the same. I'd give Sirianni this year, and if it's no exotic play calling, then that's what your weakness is on offense. It's not necessarily Jalen. So You got to know what you got.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're not going to give away the coach before the quarterback. You know that.
Yeah, well, sometimes you need to take the
I wouldn't
Florida
even
State
say
approach
coach. I
and
would
get rid
say
of them in
play
2
calling
years.
ability.
I mean, I wouldn't. I'm not going to doubt anything because
Right. Literally, there could be a report coming out and be like, pigs are flying in Philadelphia. I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense somehow. Somehow
right.
it makes sense.
Every report, but how he's fired.
Yeah.
It'll literally like the day Howie Roseman either gets fired or resigns. For like 5 years. I'm gonna be like, I don't believe it. They're gonna be like, we've hired this new GM. I don't believe it. It's just Howie in a mask. I don't trust it. I don't trust it.
Well, if you
I'm
guys
just
draft-
really trying to wrap my head around that one, man. I don't know if there would be a way that he could survive this before Nick. I'm sitting here thinking, I mean, like, in all honesty, I asked the question the other day, last week, I think it was. I said, listen, say he comes out and he kind of replicates the same exact season this year that he had last year, but only his QB passer rating was 108 and his QB accuracy was 90. Like, does that give you valid reason to keep him? Yes, statistically he's not improving, but he improved QB rating wise, and he definitely improved in his accuracy. So is that valid enough to continue with him?
Are you talking about like if we have the same record, but he has a 108 QBR and a 90% accuracy? Is that what you said?
No. I'm not talking record at
I was
all.
like, there are too many numbers.
No,
for me to
leave
follow
record out of it. I'm just talking strictly him.
Oh, okay. I was like, there's too many numbers for me to follow right now. I'm scared. Please help.
Big play slide. I just wanted to address that comment real quick. I'd say more of the start of the season was to blame to Nick.
That one?
No, the one, his latest one. Yeah,
That
there
one?
you go. But up to that Lions point, it was a switch.
Speaking of the devil,
I mean, my only rebuttal to that would be, again, like I said before, the 25 snaps under center. That's not Jalen's fault.
No,
you guys need to be more exotic on offense. I mean, a lot of teams are not just playing under center. They're not playing out of shotgun. They're not, doing trips offense. They're not, they're doing a lot of different things, and it really just depends on the defense. All of us on this panel could come together and drop a defensive scheme to stop the Eagles last year. I mean, it wasn't that hard.
Well, and that was one of my questions that I asked a long time ago. A couple
RPO. That's all it was. RPO.
When they sat there, and you heard Nick say that he built and designed this team around Jalen Hurts and his strong suits, and then you look at what you just said, 25 times under center. Are you truly telling me that Jalen Hurts can't play under center then?
Dude, they lied to us.
If you're truly building this offense around him and his strong suits,
people.
Or is that what he's trying to say? That Hurts
Both
can't.
of those coaches lied to us last year. Sirianni and Gannon both lied to us, saying that they were going to build the team around, how the players play. It was bullshit.
Just look at Jalen's freshman year at Alabama. He played under center a ton. I mean, Nick Saban is a very traditional play caller.
Mm-hmm.
He'll switch it up every year depending on the player, but Jalen came out of high school in a very professional, pro-schemed offense as well, and that translated right over to Alabama. Like, there's no question of why Nick recruited him to come there. It just so happened that Tua was a left-handed quarterback that was very good at everything. I mean, Tua is probably the most efficient passer in college football history that we've ever seen, if you look at the statistics. So,
do you really think it mattered that he was left-handed, though?
I mean, it would confuse. I mean, as a safety, if you're used to looking at somebody's hips being on the right and reading that, and then you're trying to read that is facing the left, yeah, I think that would be a little confusing.
There is very little left-handed quarterbacks, so whenever you do get a very good left-handed quarterback, it does throw it off. I will say,
especially
because
if they're good.
And not just that, but left-handed people are more creative, to be honest.
Yeah, and 90% of the time you're looking at right-handed quarterbacks. Like there's like what, maybe a handful of left-handed quarterbacks in college.
Yeah,
Left-handed people in general are more creative.
Yeah.
Well, it's like
because of the way the brain works.
Well, remember the year that Mike Allstott had 1,000 yards rushing when he switched to halfback when they needed it, and it was very confusing for people because it's like, okay, we got a big dude that's, in a formation where he's 15 yards deep and taking up the middle runs. It's really weird to game plan around.
Peyton Hillis, another guy, just the same exact way.
Yeah,
that's why when Chip Kelly came in. When Chip Kelly came in, they couldn't figure out how to stop it for a whole year. But then the next following year, they planned around it,
Yeah.
Because it was all new.
Oh, Chip.
There's only been 4 left-handed quarterbacks or 3 left-handed quarterbacks that have played in the Super Bowl, and 2 of them ended up winning it.
Was what?
That's interesting.
It was Joe Montana, Steve Young, and Boomer Esiason.
Boomer Esiason, yeah.
You knew that, right? Vic was left-handed.
Yeah.
Well,
wasn't Marino left-handed or no?
No, Marino was right-handed.
No.
Steve Young's
somebody
Hall of
with an
Famer.
Young was
Boomer
left-handed. Boomer Esiason.
Boomer Esiason in the Hall of Fame too, if I remember right. And then you have think about in the 90s, Mark Brunell with Jacksonville. That was another one. Then you got Michael Vick, who's a left-handed quarterback. I mean, trying to stop him when he's fast and a left-handed quarterback, that was confusing.
The police had no problem stopping.
Oh yeah, Mark Brunell too. He was left-handed.
Yep. Yeah, Mark Brunell with Jamie Smith, Keenan McCardell, and Fred Taylor, and Tony Boselli.
Yeah, there's only ever been 33 left-handed quarterbacks in the NFL in history.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Intrigued.
So listen, guys, we are 9 days away from the draft. We're almost there. What
my blood pressure
looking at
I
now?
might die before.
I'm pacing inside my mind. Oh my god.
Dude, I said it every day. Every day closer it gets, it seems like time slows down even more.
Right? They don't want us to get there.
Yeah. It's like you're a kid when you go to like the ocean or an amusement park. Getting there, it takes even though it's a 2-hour drive, it feels like 4. But then on the way home, it's like, bam, I'm home.
Right?
Mhm.
15 minutes.
I feel like that was the opposite. I feel like it took longer for me to get home because I was, especially like after a long day, and you're just like, I just want to go home, and it's just like, I don't know.
You were one of those backwards kids, weren't you?
It was dropped on my head.
There we go.
But
And I've said it before.
But yeah, no, I gotta ask though, what are you guys looking at for night 1 of this Eagles?
Happiness.
Well, obviously.
I said on our
Alcohol.
show. I said on our show and tomorrow, come by and check out the live stream. Me and Don are going to break down, the top 15 picks in detail, and then give our, our 32 picks on what we think is going to happen. But I think where it's going to get really strange, the Giants need help everywhere, and they have 2 picks back to back. So that 5 to 7, picks 5 to 7 is going to be weird, and then you have the Panthers.
Big D knows what I'm talking about.
The Panthers are there at number 6, and they always do things weird. Like I honestly think they're going to pick up Sam Howell, and then that's going to just screw the whole draft up because now it's going to be a player that they should have picked up available for, the Giants to pick up, and it's going to screw up their board at number 7 because they need help everywhere. So that's what I think is going to happen is like 5 to 7 is going to be like, oh crap, people are coming off the board that we didn't really expect at this point in time.
Yeah, I honestly was expecting to see a lot of offensive line, defensive line kind of go at the beginning, because I do know that the Giants do need some. They did add a little bit during the offseason here in free agency, but they still need to address it more. I know they could probably even go defensive line, but like you said, they could move back too. So, I honestly
that's interesting.
I want to say what, but then I don't want to.
I think the Giants are going to pick up Kyle Hamilton, and then that's going to screw.
No!
Don't say that.
This is what gets me drunk. This is how I drink. This is why I drink.
Yeah, so so if you're looking at the draft, man, this is like one of the time of year that I look forward to outside of football because you guys know I'm a college guy through and through, so it's like this year is very weird for the fact that it's not really any star players. We have players that are like being talked of highly, but the only thing about like the Derek Stingley and the Kyle Hamilton and the Kayvon Thibodeaux of the world is that they're very injury prone. So people are very hesitant on pulling the trigger on a lot of these guys because of that. And if they're saying anything otherwise, it's just that 40-time bull crap with Kyle Hamilton running a 4.7 something. Like people tend to forget Ed Reed ran a 4.7 too, and he was one of the fastest safeties we've ever seen. So, but last year
whatever makes the man fall, he falls. All right.
Yeah, I think he's generational, and I think Derek Stingley's generational 100%. Too. So
wait, who's generational? I just walked in.
Your mom.
He's talking about him.
Wow.
Yeah, Kyle Hamilton and Derek Stingley Jr.
No, like, listen, man. I said it the day I was watching, combine and stuff. I ran track, okay, in high school. Those positions are not easy to come up out of on a 40 whenever you don't do it all the time. As football players, you're just kind of standing up. You hunch over a little bit and you just run. I don't put a lot into 40 times because that's a situation that they're not in. So it's complicated to rate somebody on their 40. I truly believe so. There is some people out there like Hamilton who ran a 4.7, but it's like, yeah, but when you watch him play, he plays a lot faster than a 4.7. You know what I mean?
They throw the word twitchy around all the time, and that's what he is. He's there before you think he is because he's so quick, on that fourth or fifth step.
Yep.
And not only is he reading route concepts, but he's getting to where the play is going to develop. So, if you watch the only bad game that he had last year, and if you watch the tape was Cincinnati, and the way that they were scheming around Kyle Hamilton being there is they were throwing a lot of deep passes, which he plays primarily strong safety, so he's playing up with the linebackers a lot. And he got burnt like 2 or 3 times, but it was really because he was trying to fill in for where the cornerback messed up. So it's like, how do you evaluate him from the tape on that? That's one thing, but if you're thinking about it, that's like one of his worst games that he's ever played. But the dude's a freak, man. I mean, that knee injury that he had is one thing.
What's up, Joel?
What's up, man?
I just got your text.
The injury that he had is just one thing.
What's up, Joel? Did you come in here to start shit?
No.
Okay.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I know him too well.
No, I feel that was with some sarcasm. What's up, buddy?
Nothing. I just saw that. I just opened up Twitter and I saw 500 retweeting it, and I was like, "Do it, do it, do it." I want
Debo Samuel.
Yeah, the Eagles are the front runners for landing Debo. They didn't specify what they would give up, but I already know what was going to take to get him. So do it,
dude.
Do it.
We are not giving up that much. Howie's not that stupid.
And
I don't know.
Wait. You call that stupid? Let's talk about this.
Yeah.
I don't call it stupid.
15 and 18th is stupid.
For Debo?
For Debo.
Yes.
A guy that can transform our offense.
Stupid. It's stupid right now.
Oh my god.
I'm getting the popcorn.
Well, wait. Hold on. Let me get this correct. The only thing I've heard all off season from everyone is bitching and whining and complaining because we're not giving Jalen Hurts legitimate weapons, and that's why you're not sold that
hasn't been
we're
made.
Trying to build around this kid. So now you hear that we're going out to try and get Debo, and now you don't want Debo.
That hasn't been my conversation at all.
That's been the conversation.
Maybe your conversation, but not mine.
No, it's been everywhere. Everybody's
okay. Well, that's not what I've said.
Well, yeah, but
I think that we should draft one.
I don't think they're going to draft one in the first round. I'm being honest. I think they're going defense, and I think they're going to go second or third.
Even if they don't, even if they don't draft one in the first, they'll still get one in the second. And these players are good enough You know what I mean? He's not gonna trade those 2 first rounds for Debo because we need too many players.
I wouldn't touch Deebo Samuel with a 10-foot pole. Not only is he already proved that he could be injury prone, the only season that he's had 1,000 yards was last year.
And that's what I'm saying. He's not proven enough either.
I'm out of fucking popcorn.
But no.
Yeah, he's super talented, man. But
AK's right. That's all I've heard is give Jalen Hurts the correct way to evaluate him is give Jalen Hurts weapons, and this is a weapon. I mean, he's proven himself enough to where he is better than non-proven talent in the NFL.
Yeah, but still, at the same time, dude, there's too many other holes that we need to fill than to give up both of our first-round picks for him.
Well, no one said we're going to have to give up 2 first-round picks for him. No one said that.
You guys were saying that. And he's saying
no. He's saying
wants the money.
He's saying that. He's saying as a Dallas fan, that's what he wants us to do.
Yeah.
That's not technically what the deal is.
No, yeah, I don't even know what the deal is.
He's just spewing shit. That's him.
What it would take to get Debo, and then you would have to pay him. So
exactly, and that's why Howie is not going to do that.
Howie's not going to do it, but I could see him actually doing it. He's not going to do it, but I could see
in the history of your team.
No,
y'all need a linebacker. A linebacker. Do y'all think y'all are actually going to draft one with one of these 2 picks?
My jaw will hit the floor if we do that.
It would be very interesting if it happened.
I was gonna say you're gonna see like cartoon style, just bonk.
Yeah, like the tone.
Like for a defensive tackle and probably a corner if one is there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's definitely gonna be a corner
or a
there,
safety.
yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yo, what's going on, Coach? Appreciate you, man.
As a matter of fact, I think he's going to get an edge first because that's Howie's MO. You know what I mean? He normally gets edge rushers.
Now, like Big D said, if you give 2 2s and a third up for Debo, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
That's probably something he would. That's probably what he would do because, again, Howie is, as much as we all do not like him, trading is his specialty. So he'll probably find a way to manipulate some bullshit.
Trading is not going to be his specialty until Rager and Whiteside are gone.
Now,
straight up.
That sounds like your opinion.
You know what? You don't think they should trade away Rager and Whiteside?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
No,
we're not going to find
What
anyone
you
to take
just
a
said is
Whiteside trade.
Yeah, we're not going to get much of anything, but I'm just saying. If the only good trade I've seen so far is a draft trade.
Now, I got a question since I have a lot of Eagle fans here. Since the only quarterback y'all brought in and reports are coming out that y'all are in love with Matt Corral, what do you think is going to happen?
He's probably going to go to a rival and we're going to pick his brain. Same thing we did with what's-his-face Pickett.
So, because this is what I think. I mean, this is just me.
I think Dallas is going to draft him. They need to.
Me and him were talking about that. It's like we see a Cowboys taking a quarterback later on in the draft, like 5th.
Yeah, I mean, taking a quarterback later on in like 5th. We have 4 5th-round picks. I mean, I wouldn't give a shit if they took a quarterback.
4? How'd you get 4?
I don't know. We have 4 5th-round picks.
Mitch, we have 3.
I know, but it's just like I'm surprised that Dallas has 4.
Everybody got a 5th round,
but not like 3 or 4.
Apparently not. Apparently there are a bunch of teams. Let's see. Raiders.
Richie, man, I'm pretty sure isn't that the same thing you just said this past season?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, man. Eventually, you'll get it right, dog. Eventually,
I don't know.
That's his boy.
Does Rager have you at gunpoint? Not that I think he could hold a gun because he'd drop it, but does he have you at gunpoint? Blink twice if you need help, my guy. Look me in the
Somebody was trying to convince me that Whiteside was going to be good, too.
Look me in the whites of my eyes and blink twice if you need help.
I have a weird not feeling, but I just would find it funny if because I've done a couple of mock drafts where quarterbacks go early, and if y'all are actually in love with Matt Corral the way I think y'all are, y'all would trade up and try to get him before he goes, since y'all are a quarterback factory.
To be honest, man, I think Matt Corral goes to Detroit at 32. But that's where I'm standing right now.
So what do you think?
I've done a couple of mock drafts
Matt Corral's first rounder.
I've done a couple of mock drafts for what's his name, Willis, right? Goes to Detroit at number 2.
I think if anybody picks the quarterback, it's Carolina.
Carolina?
I
I'd say Carolina or Seattle.
Well, Seattle doesn't have a pick in the first round, do they?
Yeah, they do. They have 9.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Even though they just signed Geno Smith to a 1-year deal.
Yeah, they just traded Russell.
They traded everything with Denver.
Yeah, they have Drew Lock there.
Stingley. I think Seattle's going to.
I think they're going to try to replace
at 9 they're get Stingley. Yeah, they need linebacker, they need O-line, they need corner, they need QB, obviously, because I'm sorry, Drew Lock is not it. I don't care what anybody says.
I have Trayvon Walker going to the Seahawks on my mock draft.
I've seen a couple where it's what's his face, Stingley.
Would you guys be opposed to? I've actually had a strong feeling like we actually jumped to maybe 10 or 11.
Oh, I don't think 11 because that deals with dealing with Washington.
No, 11. No, 11 is the Jets.
No, 10 is the Jets.
Oh, then I meant 9 or 10. Sorry.
9. Yeah, so 9.
Seattle or the Jets. Yeah, I've always had a feeling we're gonna wind up between.
Oh, I think
9
so
and
too.
10.
Like I said before, like if we trade for a disgruntled wide receiver, I think that 15th pick is gonna be for whoever drops.
And I think
I was gonna see a guy drop, and he's gonna take that 15th pick and like I don't know, maybe a third or something next year, and he's gonna trade up and get it. I don't know who it'll be, but it's going to be something.
Because I think you have to go to 9 or 10 if you are specifically looking at Jordan Davis, because you have to jump up and get him, because you got the Vikings sitting there at, what is the Vikings, 12, right? They'd take him.
Vikings are, I think
because the Vikings are sitting at 12. And they would take him, and then also Carolina would take him. And then Baltimore would also take him too if he wound up there at 14.
I feel like Baltimore's the only team you got to worry about, because I feel like what's his face, Vikings are going to take Jermaine Johnson, because they need an edge. They lost Daniel Hunter, and they lost their other edge, so they need edges.
Daniel Hunter's still there.
Oh wait, is he? Oh no, I think it was that he was in trade bait. Never mind.
Yeah, they're not going to trade him.
Yeah, never mind.
It's
like
either
way, you still need
and
somebody opposite, so I feel like they'd take Johnson before they took Davis.
I mean, how do you feel about that East Coast?
With the Vikings question on who?
With it all, like, do you feel if you'd have to get Jordan Davis, you couldn't sit at 15, like, because Vikings and Baltimore and all them? Or even some of these guys in general, even some of these edge guys. Like, you're going to have to move up, especially to get someone. Maybe even a corner Sauce if he would fall.
I mean, if I'm Minnesota right there at 12, I'm picking Jordan Davis because that's really their weakest point is defensive tackle. But Jordan Davis he's very particular in his skill set. I mean, you're talking about a guy that only played 50% of the snaps on defense. Very good run stopper, very destructive up front. He's not sexy whatsoever. I mean, as far as like, you're not going to see him out there making a lot of big, huge plays that people are like, oh, snap. You see Jordan Davis make that tackle or that sack? That's not him.
So he's not wearing G-strings.
But he makes everybody around him better. So, you know, and your type of defense, I think you're going to have. I just think it's going to conflict too much with Fletcher Cox. If you brought him back, you don't.
I'd rather have Wyatt.
So then what makes Jordan Davis such a sexy pick for being one of the top defensive tackles?
Well, see, and that's the thing. People say sexy, and I wouldn't be drafting Jordan Davis for sexy anyway. I'm drafting him to have that run stuff capability. I'm not planning on Jordan Davis playing all 4 downs. I'm planning on him playing 2.
Cox is on his way out too, by the way.
Yeah, so I'm drafting
during
Davis
draft
for
day.
his replacement next year, and there's no issue with that. I mean, one, you get to learn behind Fletcher Cox for an entire year, and that's good. And 2, like I said, I only need him to be a 2-down DT. I don't need him to be a 3 because that's what we have Williams for. That's what we have Hargraves for. I need him in there to stop runs because that was our weak point last year, the run game. And that's something we need to really put an effort into stopping this year. And Jordan Davis is that guy to do that.
I mean, that's a great point. Like I said, for any team, he's just a little weird for him to go to because they're going to want that destruction up front. Everybody's looking for that next Aaron Donald type. But Aaron Donald's good.
I know with the Cowboys because a few times, a few of my drafts I've seen, he's fallen to the Cowboys at 24. For us, we are just. I'm not saying it's happening. I'm just saying.
No, I know. That's why I also am not a fan of mock drafts because it's just like, hey, Hamilton apparently will be there at 17. Like, no.
Bro, if somehow that worked out and you had Jordan Davis with Parsons, I'd probably.
Well, see, with Jordan Davis for us, we always get gashed up the middle with run. Like our run defense up the middle is horrible, and whether it's DeMarvin Lee, Devonte Wyatt, Winfrey, or Davis, I really wouldn't care with any 4 of those guys plugging up the middle for us because those are big body boys that we just never value ever.
Big boys.
Good.
We swole.
Just hope we don't call any of them Cowboys.
I mean, my dream draft would be Kenyon Green at 24 and either Winfrey or DeMarvin Lee at 56. And I would
Kenyon Green, I don't think is going to fall that far, to be honest. I think the perfect pick for you guys for the Cowboys.
Don't say wide receiver.
No, Bernard Raymond is he's an offensive tackle from Central Michigan. He's from Austria. He's a big kid. He's like 6'7", 304. I think he'd be perfect in Dallas to help you out. It's like
I feel like if Linderbaum's
awesome.
there, they would go Linderbaum.
Yeah, see, I mean, we haven't our 30 visits.
That's why I said who's there.
Like that's but I've also seen it's weird because I keep seeing in a lot of my I do 3 different websites, and I have a lot of them have Lindenbaum in the second round. Going in the second.
I've even actually he's right. I actually had a PFF mock draft where he's fallen to the second, like he went 39th or something like that, 40th.
But in real life, there's no way he's dropping that far.
But even if Kenyon Green's not there, I would be okay with Zion Johnson at 24.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And I don't know if
be there.
I don't see they're pretty much the same except Kenyon Green is a little bit more polished, I would say.
Well, isn't Johnson a tackle and Green a guard?
Yeah, see, no, I think Johnson's a guard and a center. And we have too many guys for the Cowboys that we draft at one position and move them somewhere else. And I don't like that.
I'm sick of it.
Yeah, I am sick of it. So another guy that I wouldn't mind falling to us is Trevor Penny from
Iowa.
Yeah,
Northern Iowa. Yeah.
But here's the thing for me as far as tackles. I was willing to let go of Jarvis Smith like 4 years ago because I would have gotten top value still, even though he was kind of on the decline with getting hurt. But it wasn't as bad as the way it is now, where he's getting hurt every year, and he's only good for at least 8-9 games, and then he's hurt the rest of the time.
Richie, I don't know why you keep thinking Elam's going to fall to the second round, especially at 51.
Well, and here's how I believe we're honestly going to do it. We're going to walk away in the first round with a CB wide receiver. Okay, in all honesty, I believe that's the direction.
Probably. again, I think one of your picks is wide receiver, whether that be in the draft or if you traded.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I have a strong feeling it's going to be Williams from Alabama, but that's just
I
I'm
will
out, dude.
give you
Williams.
a sneak peek of what my 2 picks are for the Eagles tomorrow.
Mm.
The first one, where you guys are
Mhm.
picking at 15th, I think you guys take Drake London. At 18th, I think you guys take Trent McDuffie.
no,
I hate both of those picks.
can't have McDuffie because
I hate both of those
McDuffie
picks.
is a slot guy, and there's no way Maddox is moving out of that.
He played on the outside a couple times, and he was
He's
very
not going to
good.
do well on the outside.
We won't do well on the outside on our scheme. If you're going anywhere, you need Booth or you need a tall, physical corner.
Booth got burnt a lot last year in the ACC, man.
You know who didn't get burnt? Elam. You know who's a top physical guy? Elam.
Yeah, if you guys can grab Elam, I think he's going to drop more. I don't know. For some reason, I don't see him going.
I think y'all can go Garrett Wilson. Y'all, I see a lot of drafts where y'all
I
take.
feel like we would have to trade up for a Garrett Wilson.
But I will say this though,
Yeah.
in the second though, you guys want a linebacker. I would love my dream pick in the second would be Asamoah from Oklahoma. I believe it is, right?
Yep.
The linebacker?
Yeah. Listen, he's very underrated. I think he would be very good on this defense.
I feel like Bonito
Or even
would be
Clark
very
from
good.
LSU.
Oh, you said Clark? Okay. For whatever
Yeah.
reason, I heard LaRaven Clark, and I was like, wait.
No.
Wait a minute.
No, Clark from
Wait,
LSU.
Yeah, no, I was the one that got you on his film.
No, yeah, Clark's a beast, dude.
Clark, especially if you're going with like the style they're going with, and I need to look up Kaiser, because Clark is a big boy. He's like 6'3", 2 something, I think. Obviously 2 something, 230 something, I think. I don't know. They might be going with bulky guys or just tall guys because Elam. What the hell? White is 6'2", 218. Edwards is just swole at this point. I
don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see which one of these guys fall.
I miss Little Shepard.
Again, I feel like Garrett Wilson's the guy that you would have to trade up for.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's the first wide receiver off the board.
Where do you have
And
Drake London then?
Huh?
Drake London, where do you have him going to?
I don't know, and as long as it's not the Eagles, I don't
Green
care.
Bay, man. I'm telling you right now, London's Green Bay.
As long as it's not the Eagles, I don't care. I do not like Drake London.
What
Why?
don't you like about Drake London?
I just don't like. I just don't like the Maybe I just need to watch more film. But I don't like the
Like
separation.
for me, I don't want to
like
lobby
the
because I'm a
USD. I
Michigan
just
fan.
Let me,
But
hey, sorry. Let me tell you something. If you go watch the games that he played, that dude would have been the Biletnikoff winner if he didn't just play 8 games last year. That's how good he was. He would have been the Biletnikoff winner off the rip. It was the kid from Pittsburgh.
Dotson?
No, not Jahan
right,
Dotson.
right.
Bell.
Get that kid's name. No, not David
No,
Bell.
Bell's
David Bell
Purdue.
played at Purdue.
Oh, that's Purdue. Sorry.
I can't
What if
remember
y'all,
that kid's
what if y'all
name.
do some weird move for wide receiver and go Pickens at 15 or 18? They've been hearing he's very underrated.
I mean,
He's a day 2 guy.
He's definitely a day 2 guy.
Yeah, like I like Ross from Clemson. Even Ross is good. Like day 2, dude. I wouldn't mind him as a wide
I would
receiver.
take pick would be at like 28, and that's depending which wide receivers are off the board. That is the
All right, guys,
earliest
let me
I
get out of here. I got to go do my show here in 10 seconds.
All right, buddy. Have a good one.
I'll pop in.
Have fun. I do gotta wonder, do you think, and this is just a surprise move that I thought of recently, like last night or a couple days ago, do we see in the first round, and they may trade back, the Giants taking a receiver?
No, I think they go offensive line.
Yeah, I do too.
No, I know,
think-
but I'm saying like if they traded back at like 7 or whatever.
So if the Eagles,
They have picks 5 and 7 in the draft.
right. I still think O-line, but somehow, some way, they still believe Daniel Jones is the guy, and I'm like, no.
I don't
Which
think
is
you
not going
trade
to
back.
happen because they got the other quarterback. I forget his name right now.
Taylor.
Who?
Tyrod Taylor.
Tyrod
Taylor.
Taylor.
They gave him 11 mil to be a backup.
If the Giants trade back, that would be one of the worst moves in this draft because they pick at 5 and 7, and Carolina's going to pick something crazy. And you're probably going to have Evandale and Kyle Hamilton right there, which automatically makes them a better team right off the rip. I don't think they would do that, but if they do, I would severely be scratching my head on why they did so. Unless they're getting like some primetime player that or getting Debo Samuel or something.
Yeah. So, I mean, would you guys actually trade for Debo though? Would you guys?
I don't think they have the salary cap to pay him $250 million.
Would I? Yes. Do I think we will? No. Like I said, I think
That's
AJ
exactly
Brown.
what I said.
I think AJ Brown's the guy that they're going to trade for.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
I think, and yes, I get it. Money is money, but I
What are we,
also
Mr. Krabs money?
no. But I'm saying, especially in this wide receiver market. But I'm saying right now, AJ Brown most likely, I think, would be your ideal target first of all, and the one most likely, because yes, while he wants the money, I think he would take a small discount just to play with his buddy Jalen Hurts, because they are like best buds. Aren't they working out together?
Who?
Brown and
AJ Brown
Hurts.
and Hurts.
I think so. I think.
Yeah. So like again, I
If
feel
only we
like
got
I
Calvin
feel like
Ridley.
he would take a discount, and I don't think it would be as much to get him.
If we got Calvin Ridley, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
Yeah, well, if Calvin Ridley didn't gamble, so I'm not even defending Howie on this, but that one you can't blame Howie on.
You can't. You can't.
That one I blame the NFL for suspending him for a year, because that's just
That's ridiculous. I would have given him 3.
We've got, and this is nothing against Boys for Life, but we got cowboy players beating up women and they get 4 weeks.
Why didn't you say that earlier?
Because we weren't talking about Ridley earlier.
Damn it, I should have brought it up. Damn. Yo, I gotta tell you something funny though. He's
What's
doing a show with Joey Sakes, right? Boys for Life. He had a Denver Broncos logo in the background. I'm like, dude, you're a Broncos fan now? I texted him. He was like, damn it, he's gonna make a new one. He was so mad. It was like, Mitch, no one looks that far back. I'm like, it's dead center.
Bull, I'm grabbing like the little diamond like telescope thing with like the 20 different lenses, and I'm like, all right, I see something. That ain't ending up there, Chief.
No, man, it's very interesting because,
I forgot about Bergs.
like, how much are you guys into at least saying that maybe some of the blame needs to be put on Aaron Moorhead a little bit for lack of wide receiver development?
You guys missed out on like the best opportunity to develop a wide receiver, to be completely honest with you, and Allen Robinson. He would have automatically made your wide receiver room better.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why he doesn't drop
definitely
passes.
agree with that.
He's a super professional. This dude played with the Jaguars and had a 1,000-yard season.
Farmer hit a 2-run homer.
That's right,
Let's
he
go.
did play with the Jags. I was like, wait.
I miss him. I miss him dearly.
I keep forgetting for whatever. I keep thinking he was just a Bears his entire.
No,
And I
and he
don't
only
know
dropped
why.
like 3 passes in like 3 years. It was something insane.
Shit.
And
What?
that's the reason why the Rams brought him in and got rid of Robert Woods.
Where's Robert Woods now?
The Titans.
Right.
Titans.
Right, but it's Julio. Yep. Now it's coming back.
Yeah, I mean he's a solid receiver, but he's not a number 1.
Oh, no.
No, but even then, even if we were to bring in Woods, I feel like our receiver room would have been better. We wouldn't have been complaining as much.
That's
Dude,
true.
if you brought in anyone, for the most part, our receiver room was better.
Hell,
Like,
if we
again,
just took
I think
away
Bell is still
Rager
there.
and Whiteside, our receiver room would be better.
Again, you've got your 2 solid pieces. You've got your 1, and you've got your number 1 right now, which is Smith, and then your slot guy, which is Watkins. You need that number 2. And that's what is killing us, because we need that reliable number 2.
I don't know why you guys didn't bring in Jarvis Landry. That blows my mind too.
Where's he going?
Nowhere. He's still a free agent.
Nowhere.
I know, but I really
They're
want to
still
know where
shopping
he's
him around.
going.
To be honest, man, I feel like Howie's
Saints
doing
right
the
now.
waiting game with these wide receivers, especially
I
like
honestly-
after the draft. That way he can be like, hey, man, I try and get them cheaper because it's like, hey, you want to play football, right? Well, no one else is signing you here. Here's a deal, you know?
Yeah. Oh,
feel
Sora, I
like
was going to
Lane-
tell you about Drake London, the game that you should look at, that he was just like the best receiver in the country was against Utah. And we talk about Utah's defense a lot.
Utah's good.
And
Their
he
defense is
destroyed them.
good,
He had like
yeah.
16 catches, like 170 yards or something like that.
It
was
sounds like
insane.
Georgia's defense. I learned that from experience.
What do you think about Burke?
Who?
Treylon Burks.
Treylon Burks.
Oh, Burke.
So Treylon Burks' issue is I don't think whatever team he goes to, he had route running issues all last year. The thing that he got away with in the SEC was that he was just stronger than everybody, but he's not necessarily the fastest, and he's not a great route runner, and that's not going to do well in the NFL because being strong is one thing. Not everybody's DK Metcalf, and I think that's what people are trying to compare him up against, and it's like it's not the same. Neither does he have the speed or the route running ability that DK has, but he drops a ton of passes late in games too.
DK is its own entity. Like no one can.
Yeah, you can't compare. But the Treylon Burks, if you watch the tape against Ole Miss, there was like I think they lost that game if I remember right, but there was a couple passes late in that game that he just like completely dropped, and it's like, dude, you're playing in the SEC where every game is super important. Well, every game is important in general, but
Unless it's Vanderbilt, but yes.
What school did Treylon Burks go to again?
Arkansas.
Oh, thank God! I thought it was Ohio State for a second. Thank God.
That's just Wilson and Olave. And I'll give this to Wilson, even though Wilson's what 6'6", that dude can probably get the same high pass as a guy like Burks, who's 6'3".
Right.
Like that dude's got some hops on him. Like
I tell you who would be perfect, and if he fell to you guys, and there's a specific reason why I say this, and people are gonna be like, "Oh, he's too small," but like he's one of the most physical receivers, and he's the best route runner in the draft, and he was double covered all last year. Go watch the Oregon game that Ohio State played. It's Chris Olave. You guys get Chris Olave.
Yeah.
Well, I say it because of a couple different reasons. The first reason is Devonte Smith is not necessarily good at route running and getting open in the middle of the field, but he's really good downfield and getting open and breaking routes there.
Who, Smith or Olave?
Devonte Smith. But if you get Olave, he shines everywhere, especially intermediate.
Yes, he will.
And then what happens, after that at tight end is you have Goddard that's just going to have the middle of the field open because you're covering those two guys that do two completely different things.
You also have Watkins, who is your Watkins is my slot guy.
Mm-hmm. But I think if you bring him in,
you got an answer for that. You got an answer for that?
For what? I'm sorry. Boys for Life texted me.
Gang Green, Olave can't get off a press, bro. You need to go watch the tape. He was double covered like every single time. That's why Garrett Wilson had such an amazing year. If you go and watch everything that was talked about at the beginning of last season, Chris Olave was like the number one receiver that was supposed to be coming out this year. Garrett Wilson took advantage of everything because he was double covered. But Chris Olave down the field saved them several different times, especially CJ Stroud throwing underneath. He was getting open and scoring a ton of touchdowns. I don't know what you're watching, buddy, but I watched a ton of Chris Olave, and I'll
say right now,
he's
great, I would take either of those Ohio State wide receivers because they both are like, I would love to play next to Smith. They're like, I would love to play next to Smith. Okay, cool. They're like, we loved his play. We loved the chemistry. All right, cool. Welcome. Come on.
He would be great for you guys, man. I think he'd be great for any team because his skill set is so wide open. He's very physical.
Either Wilson or Olave would be great. And this is coming from somebody who also hates Ohio State because of the Urban Meyer bullshit.
Yeah, but I hate him more. I have a better reason.
No, you don't.
Well, I mean,
guarantee that right
I'm
now.
a Michigan fan.
I don't care.
So would Williams,
I'm a Jaguars fan and Florida State fan. Nobody hates Urban Meyer more than me.
I would beg to differ. I'm a Florida fan.
Well, let's think about that, bro. Florida, when he was with the Gators, we hate Florida, and then came to Jacksonville and just totally screwed the organization up. I hate Urban Meyer.
This man's got a picture of like
Hey, he's
Meyer
been tormenting Michigan for how many years?
Not as much as he's been torturing me.
It's pretty damn close. It's pretty damn close. Yeah, I don't want any Ohio State guys.
It really isn't.
If we do draft Chris Olave or something, I'm gonna be really mad at first, and then I'll be like, "Oh, great! I'm gonna have to live with it now." Why not?
Listen, you got to get over this. You got to get over the schools. I've learned that from a long time because I've literally.
Thank you.
The thing with the Georgia, I'm a Florida fan. I hate Georgia. I would take.
I hate Georgia too. Hey, we have something in common.
That's because they beat your ass in the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm glad you said that because a lot of people have been saying that about Drake London coming out of USC. It doesn't matter what the prestige of the school is or what the history of that school is. I don't care. You never know how some of these players are going to perform. Just because we look at USC as wide receiver, and then you got Penn State who's like linebacker and all that stuff. It doesn't matter. These are factories for those players. But it's just been unfortunate that some of these players just go to schemes that just absolutely don't fit them. I truly believe that too. Sometimes teams draft off a hype just to, regardless of what we all say here, football is an entertainment business. So if the big name is out there, that's who they're going to draft most likely to make sure that there's a lot of casual football fans that are going to root for their team and not look at things how we look at it. Right. So you have to look at that too. But to say that Drake London's going to do bad because he came from a school that like usually wide receivers don't do good is totally incorrect, and just a really weird way on how to look at things.
Daniel Jones from Duke.
Yeah. And Daniel Jones was amazing at Duke.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, just a shameless plug of mine. I picked him to go to the Giants that year.
Oh, yeah.
I don't mean to brag,
people are like, what the hell?
I kind of predicted it.
Yeah.
Oh, I think. No, I didn't. I had it reversed. I had Haskins Giants, Jones Washington.
Gotcha. FSU lost Jimbo Fisher to Texas A&M. Yeah, we did.
How did he mirror J-Jaw? Can someone please explain it? How?
Yeah, how? He has a completely different skill set.
J-Jaw
I need to know the answer behind that, sir.
J-Jaw
Is it because J-Jaw was a quote-unquote red zone weapon in college? Is that where you're coming with?
He's a blocking wide receiver. That tells you everything.
Drake
right
London
there.
is one of the youngest players in this draft. He's in like the 1 percentile of like a projected talent, like in the 1%. He's only 19 years old. He got this fluky injury where he could have been like the Biletnikoff winner last year. He catches everything. The only questionable thing is his speed. He runs like a 4.72, but he pushes people around. He can block. He makes all kinds of amazing catches. The dude had 2 totally different quarterbacks last year. And did not necessarily play. Go ahead.
I think he's the only wide receiver we haven't interviewed because technically we were able to cheat with Burks because Moorhead stayed after with Burks or whatever for one of the drills.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we have visited every wide receiver except London, or had them come visit with us.
I don't know why so many people are so high on Christian Watson, but if you want him,
don't get AK and Vic started.
No, check it out. But I'm just saying, if you want Christian Watson, why wouldn't you want Drake London? Because Drake London is a 200% times better wide receiver than Christian Watson.
I never said I didn't want London. He just ain't going to be there whenever it's our turn.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily saying you.
I think
you
it's
understand
more or
he's
less
probably not
the
going to be
fact
there.
of if he's there, and if like a team has a more pressing need.
Oh, bro, if he's there at 15, there's no fucking question. Like I'm not even going to blink. I'm just going to pass the paper over, like.
I mean, I have him there for you guys. Like I totally see
I think
him
he'll fall to
dropping
15. I don't.
That'd be insane if that would happen.
I think the 2 teams you would have to look out for a receiver would be
Green Bay
Washington.
is one of them.
Well, before us is what I'm saying.
Green Bay. Yeah, Green Bay is after you guys.
I think Washington and maybe Saints if you don't take one at 15. But before 15, I think Washington would be the only team to take a receiver.
New Orleans is after you guys too. They're at 16.
Yeah.
I don't see anybody. Yeah, I don't see anybody pulling the trigger outside of maybe. Yeah, Washington is one of them. Houston,
if they take a quarterback, I'm gonna laugh.
Hey, what would you say the odds would be that Green Bay moves up to 9 and trades Jordan Love and their first to Seattle for pick 9 to take
I don't
Drake
think that
London.
would get it done. I think they'd have to take 22 and 28.
Well, then that's what they would do. But
I have
I
Chris
don't
Olave
think-
going to Green Bay.
I don't.
that would be
think-
dangerous.
That would be
That would be
not only
insane.
is he used to the cold weather playing in Ohio State, it would be a great transition over for a receiver. Like if you watch the tape on Chris Olave versus the other guys, I think him and Drake London have this thing where no matter how short the ball is, no matter how misplaced it is, if these are the two guys that go after it, like if you're talking about a guy that's going to put every effort in and catching every single ball thrown his way, and there's no doubt in your mind that if he's going to catch it or not, you draft those two guys because they're going to go after it.
Didn't
And
it? Wasn't
That's
it
going to
like?
be dangerous.
Wasn't it like he had 3 or what? It was 5 touchdowns in his last 3 games or whatever. Olave.
Yeah, it was something crazy like
Yeah.
that.
That's just crazy.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of weapons in this draft, man. I'm so excited to see what happens.
I
People
really
draft
do-
bad. There's a lot of cornerbacks. There's a lot of wide receivers. There's a lot of offensive tackles, and there's a lot of edge rushers in this draft. If you need help at any one of those, like I honestly think, like Boye Mafe is probably going to get drafted in the first round somewhere. Go watch the tape on him at Michigan.
It'll probably
Minnesota.
be us.
Mafe is awesome, man. I don't think he gets enough love because there's just you got Trayvon Walker and all these other just freaks. But Boye Mafe at the Senior Bowl, man, he was one of those guys. I was like, who the hell is this kid? I didn't watch a lot of Minnesota last year.
Senior Bowl and Pro Day, yeah, he was really good.
Yeah. Boye Mafe is a freak, man. I'm excited to watch that kid because I think he could be one of those next like Patrick Willis type of guys. He just comes off the tape like that to me.
Dude, I ain't gonna lie, man. Every time a trade's up on the TV, I'm gonna get super excited instantly.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm gonna shut down and be like, oh.
I'm gonna be like, is Whiteside or Rager in the trade? No, then I don't care.
No, it's gonna be interesting because
It is.
I have a feeling there is going to be a lot of movement this year on draft night.
Oh, there
A
it
lot
is.
of teams are gonna be going back and forth.
Again,
Well-
there were more teams saying they wanted to trade out of the top 10 than pick in said top 10. So it's
Yeah.
I've never seen so many players just like start taking stuff off of Twitter and so many names being thrown up. Like
it has been such a crazy
it's
offseason.
so weird. So
Yeah.
what if people don't think that there's a bunch of trades that are going to happen? They're sadly mistaken. I mean, Terry McLaurin's name got thrown in there for whatever reason this week. And
Yeah.
it's like who
As
knows?
Carson Wentz.
Well, he doesn't want to play with Carson Wentz. He said
Exactly.
that's why
Terry
he
McLaurin, man, is
I'll take one. I'll take
and not just that, but the one I've been keeping my eye on and why his name's even floating around is beyond me was Claypool. I would love to have Claypool on this.
I have yet to see Claypool's name. I know you keep mentioning it. I have yet to see
No, I
his
have.
article.
I really, really have, dude. It was
believe
one
you.
that I saw Debo, I saw Claypool, and then there was 3 of them on a Twitter thing. Picture of 3
because
of them.
Pittsburgh could draft another wide receiver,
Yeah.
just as talented. And I think what they're going to do is start building around Deontay Johnson because the dude has like 1,000 yards like the last 2 seasons,
Yeah.
just like silent.
Oh, the wide receiver. Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I mean,
and
if
it's like a
Claypool's
great
available, man, I would love that, dude. He would be an excellent number 2 across from Smith. And that
I
dude
don't,
can.
know, I don't know why Deontay Johnson's name hasn't popped up for a lot of teams. To be completely honest with you, I'm gonna say something weird. This is just my prediction. I think like halfway through the season, if the Panthers are doing bad, I think somebody's gonna grab DJ Moore, and I think DJ Moore is the most underrated wide receiver in the NFL.
Didn't they just extend him though?
They could. We've seen people get extended and get
I mean, I
traded.
get that, but also I feel
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
that would. I don't know.
If somebody traded 3 first-round picks for him
Well, yeah, obviously.
and
Anybody
pick
would
up his
do that.
contract,
So,
Listen, in the end, it's a business, man. Anyone is negotiable.
100%.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
know.
Oh yeah, we extend you, but you're,
Yeah.
yeah, even on the
Trade
movie
fodder,
Draft
yeah.
Day, I mean, they got Putney.
oh man.
I had to. And by the way, I saw this on Twitter. Devonte Smith will be a top ranked receiver this year. And people on Twitter were like 10, 20, 5, 1, 8, 10, 15, 16, 25, 30. I don't know where I would put Smith.
So, talking about Devonte Smith, I think this draft, when it comes to Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave as two small wide receivers, Devonte Smith pretty much squashed the stigma that skinny and little quarterbacks or little wide receivers can't play.
100%.
Their draft stock went way up. Like these two are probably going to get chosen in the top 15.
That's
and
what I'm
nobody's ever
saying,
going to be talking about size anymore.
I would 100% take one of those two Ohio State wide receivers, Jameson Williams, because they're literally already talking about like Devonte Smith. They're like, oh, because Olave and Wilson played against him in the championship game 2 years ago, and they had nothing. Obviously, they praised him. They were like, and of course asked, would you love to play next to him? Fuck yeah, I'd love to play next to him. And I do think those two are very good. Yes, I would like the typical like 6'3", 6'5", big body X receiver, but if you get like a Olave or a Wilson, then go ahead and get it, because again, those two, Wilson alone can take Wilson alone can get probably about as much of a vertical as a Watson or a London. And then Olave alone, his route running, you won't need a vertical when you're that wide open, breaking other people's ankles.
Mm-hmm. Will he gain muscle and be like 180 pounds by the start of the season? I mean, he didn't get injured, so.
Listen, he put on that Terminator arm brace and he was like, "I'm good. Let's go." He was like, "I'm a Moss."
He's a tough player, man. He's a tough player. People don't give him enough credit. When you guys traded up to get him, I was like, he's going to be a 1,000-yard receiver, and damn near he almost was.
Yeah.
Damn near he almost was.
Listen, Smith is only going to be as good as what Jalen allows him to be, and Jalen's only going to be as good as he allows himself to be. In the end,
right now, if Rager was taken out of a lot of plays, Smith would have had over 1,000 yards.
What's crazy is, going back to the Ohio State guys. I sound like an Ohio State homer. I'm not, but going back to the Ohio
Meanwhile,
State
we probably
guys.
all hate Ohio State.
Yeah, I don't like hearing about them and all the success that they have, but with Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave, what's scary about them being so good is we haven't even seen the best receiver from there come out yet. Jackson Smith-Jigba, when he comes out next year, he's probably going to be like number 5 overall. That kid is damn good. And then we're going to talk about the draft next year, but just to throw that name out there that you guys need to pay attention to for next year. Didn't he have like 7 or 8 catches or 7 or 8 touchdowns in like the bowl game or something like that? And like all over 300 yards? It was something insane.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to have to look that up. Yeah.
No lie, though, man. I mean, you're right, though. If you team Olave or Wilson or Williams up with Devonte Smith, the sky's the limit for this offense. I mean,
and you already have a connection somewhat with them.
Yeah. So, listen.
Well, AK, think about it. Like, even if they break up the field and are just nightmares on route running and everything, even if they're open, you got to worry about Dallas Goedert, who's one of the best like route running tight ends out there too.
Yep.
That's a freaking. If he gets 1,400 yards and 12 touchdowns next year as a tight end, that was a success drafting Chris Olave or somebody that's a great route runner down the field. I mean, just is.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're right. Dallas Goedert, he completely opens up areas of the field for Smith, and if it will be whoever that second will be, whoever they choose to draft, the second obviously will open up the room in the middle for Dallas Goedert to do his destruction, and Smith will be out there doing his thing because, the whole point is you got to have weapons at the receiver position, because you got to be able to make and force these defenses to play you one-on-one, especially on the outside. That right now is how you win in the NFL, Because if you are one dimensional and you only have one wide receiver, it makes it very easy to scheme against you, and it makes it easier to just take that one weapon away, and then you're pretty much screwed from there on out.
Well, think about all the running backs you guys have. Like I said,
Yeah.
I've been on record saying that the Colts had the best running back room last year with Marlon Mack and Naheem Hines and Jonathan Taylor. You guys have the second best one. You guys were your running backs were averaging 4.3, 4.4 yards a carry.
Yeah.
Like, and you guys can plug and play them all over the field. So if you pair
even
Chris
like
Olave
even if it was
into
a
that?
Boston Scott, he'd still be producing.
he still had 4.4 yards a carry last year.
I'm gonna tell you right now, we'll become number one if we draft Dameon Pierce. You thought you could get away from that one, AK? You thought you could go a podcast without his name being mentioned?
I have him
You
as
were
my
wrong.
best running back in this class.
Thank you.
He didn't. I mean, he only had 500 yards, but the dude was.
He had
They
five-
were confused on what they wanted to do in the running game last year, but
That's
every time he
because
stepped,
Dan Mullen was an idiot. And the thing that AK and all the Penn State fans have even said, like Vic, Miles Sanders, and Barkley could not remember Barkley's name. Saquon, there we go.
Mhm.
All of their tires, like they were gassed. They were ran out. They ran them hard at Penn State. Because Mullen was such an idiot that he didn't use Pierce enough. He's got fresh. I guarantee you, if Mullen used Pierce enough, like how he should have been running back one, Pierce would have been arguably up there with Kenneth Walker right now.
I think that's very true. And
Because he had
I have a
13
video breaking down.
touchdowns and only 500 yards.
Yeah, I have a video breaking down Dameon Pierce, and he reminds me of Fred Taylor when he was at Florida.
Yeah. And
That's
he's also
how
like
good
tough,
I think that
tough.
kid.
He is tough.
He's the
He is your power
prototypical
back.
size for your running back, and he has a lot of tread on the tires. That's
Yeah.
how I feel about Kenneth. What's his name?
Kenneth Gainwell.
Kenneth Gainwell.
Yeah.
Kenneth Gainwell didn't run the ball a lot at Memphis. Was great, and he had a lot of tread on the tires. I think he's going to be your running back number one. That's my bold prediction.
Oh,
for
wow.
the-
Yeah,
I don't
but
think
my
I
whole
don't think
thing with
Sanders will be here
Gainwell
after
though
this year.
is I don't know if he can be a 3-down back.
Then that's why you have Pierce.
Yeah.
No,
I'm
no,
gonna say right
listen,
not
listen.
even adding
Papa,
Sanders in the
I've
conversation.
told
You
you
could
I
Pierce
don't
and
mind
Gainwell.
adding Pierce, but that's in the third for me. Like my first and second rounds are definitely things in position
get
of
that.
need.
And Pierce is definitely going to be there as the third. I get that.
And then I'm fine with that. If they pull that trigger, I've told you, man, I am a running back by committee type person. I do not mind having two good halfbacks. I don't need just one. Two is fine. I love what the Browns do with Hunt and Chubb. You know, I liked it when we did the Ajayi and Blunt connection.
Yeah.
You know how that worked out. So, hey, if you can team Miles with Pierce, hey, I'm all for it. No problem there.
I know people are going to be like, oh, well, you got Gainwell at 5'9" and Pierce at like 5'11". These shorter guys are harder to tackle. They're harder to tackle, especially with for the running backs. And again, just to read this year, 100 attempts, 574 yards, averaged 5.7, 13 touchdowns, had 216 receptions, 3 touchdowns, averaged 11.4. His longest being 61 yards for reception. So he's literally fresh off.
Is there a chance though that this guy could be a one and done type dude though?
No.
I think if you guys draft a running back, and I think who would be number one immediately because of his consistency, the only thing that you have a problem with is he ran the ball a ton. But I think Dameon Pierce is the best running back based off of potential. But if you're talking about probably the best running back that proved itself, and that could be an immediate impact for you guys, he could be an immediate impact for anybody that's lacking depth at running back, to be completely honest, is Breece Hall.
Yeah, Breece Hall.
Breece Hall is NFL ready, man. Like, he's going to be a beast. As long as he doesn't get hurt, he would be running back number one in your room.
In all honesty, I think the Bills take him in the first because that's what the position they need the most. I mean, he would automatically make them a Super Bowl favorite probably.
Yeah. I mean, if they've been saying that they want to trust in Devin Singletary, you know, after that playoff run that he had, which was, you know, he was pretty decent in the playoffs, but You know,
Yeah.
Sean McDermott's pretty adamant about making him running back number 1. But yeah, I agree with you, AK. I'm like, if they get Brees Hall, they're
I'm
Super Bowl
sorry,
favorites.
bro. I'm sorry, man, but you cannot sit here. No one can sit here and convince me that you are going to win it with Singletary. I like the kid. He's got heart, but dude, come on, man. He's not the answer. He's the reason that team's been held back the last couple of years, in my opinion. And that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The upside with him is very high, but
Yeah.
the consistency factor is not very good. So definitely agree with you there. But if they get Brees Hall, they're Super Bowl favorites.
Oh yeah.
That's the only
100%.
person they need to draft.
Yeah, no, and further, I agree with you too, man. Listen, my wife is a Steeler fan.
My
Obviously.
wife is too. That's crazy.
Yeah, listen, I hear about it all the time, but listen, the Steelers lucked out with Harris. I am such a huge fan of Harris. Oh my God, Najee is going to be a huge factor for them for years to come.
Yeah,
It sucks so bad. Listen, I have a
They
MUT
can get
team.
a
I play
O-line.
Madden a lot. They dropped a new card for Harris, and he is now on my team. The dude is a monster.
So
Like,
check this out, right? I totally agree with you there. And
yeah,
how weird that it was when Kadarius Toney got drafted to the Giants. I was telling everybody, I said the player that fits the best with any team in last year's draft, if the Steelers get Najee Harris, that is A+ for them, and they got him. I was like, wow, it's crazy.
yo, I'm telling, dude, listen, this kid was the first rookie in NFL history to never fumble in the regular season. He never fumbled. He didn't fumble till the playoff wild card game. That is how good this kid is. His hands are that reliable. He did not fumble all year long. And he had like, how many touches did he have? He almost had like 200 touches, I believe.
Mhm.
And out of 200 touches, he never fumbled. That's fantastic.
Yeah, he was really good, man.
Yeah.
1,200 yards, 7 touchdowns.
Yeah, and how many touches?
He had 307 rushes, and he also was targeted 94 times in the passing game with like 74 catches. So.
307 touches and never fumbled. That's remarkable. That is remarkable.
When you have Derrick Henry who fumbles pretty often. So think about that.
Dude, Najee's a mini Henry. I'm telling you, dude, he is. Listen, there is a lot more power behind him than you would assume. Like that boy will run you over and not think twice about it.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember watching him in the preseason game before the regular season even started. And I turned and looked at my wife and I said, somebody needs to tell that kid to calm down. Like, dude, he was out there doing things like you shouldn't do. Like, it's just preseason, bro. Calm down. Yeah, he was hurdling people. He was trucking people and like bouncing off left and right. I'm like, dude, you're going to kill yourself. Nah, dude, they handed it off over 300 times to this man and he still survived. Props to him.
That's kind of because they kind of had to.
Now, AK, you'll like this statistic. So, you know, he ran 307 times, never fumbled, right?
Yeah.
Derrick Henry ran the ball 303 times. And guess how many times he fumbled that year? This was in 2019 when he ran for 1,500 yards.
So
he fumbled. Close. He fumbled 5.
Oh wow, that's still good though. I can't bitch about that. That's still good.
Oh no, yeah. You get 1,500 yards, you only fumbled, 5 times. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, that's great. But yeah, 307 times and never fumble. Like, dude, and if he can keep that stat up, that's amazing.
You know why people don't like Najee? I'm gonna just throw it out there. Why some people that don't see it like we do and know that he's a good running back? It's the Jordan Davis thing that I was telling you. He's not a sexy running back. He's buckle up your chin strap. I'm coming after you every single time.
He's a power back.
He's a power back. Jonathan Taylor's kind of the same way, but the thing that we see about Jonathan Taylor is he's got speed. So he's able to break those 60, 70 yard runs all the time.
That's what it's going to be with Dameon Pierce as well.
You ready for this?
Chin strap. I'm coming for you.
Mark this down. Clip it. Najee Harris will hold every running back record that the Steelers have by the time he is done.
I absolutely agree with that.
He will beat out Franco Harris. He will beat out Jerome Bennis. He will beat out all of them.
I told my wife that she's the biggest Jerome Bettis fan ever. I said there is no way that Jerome Bettis should be in the Hall of Fame before Fred Taylor and Eddie George. That is
She
absolutely
immediately went, I want a
blasphemous.
divorce.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, her family had a lot to say about that too, but I'm like, I'm being serious. Like, didn't he average like 3.2 yards a carry or something like that? But this dude was supposed to be the bust. Like, come on, man. Like Fred Taylor and Eddie George were going against Ray Lewis like twice a year, man. That's crazy.
No lie though, bro. They don't get that Super Bowl though without him. They don't.
Well, yeah. If you talk about big moments,
yeah. The bus was that team. I mean, look, he was.
Who remembers the game against?
Like you said, he wasn't sexy. We'll put it that way.
So, if you're talking about the game against Baltimore, the same year that they won the Super Bowl, right? I'll tell you a cool Fred Taylor story. Fred Taylor had like 300 or 230 yards and like 2 touchdowns, and didn't play the fourth quarter because he ended up getting cramps and couldn't come back in the game. And this is what Ray Lewis and Peter Bullware and all those guys, one of the best defenses of all time. That's crazy, man.
All right. Yes. No. Ray Lewis. Yes. He will always be missed. I gotta ask you guys, who is your all-time favorite linebacker of all time? Like, who do you think it is?
I'm gonna go out on a whim and say somebody that like you're gonna be like, what? But if you watched him play and was one of the best supporting cast on any linebacker core of all time, was Navarro Bowman. I love Navarro Bowman, man.
You're tugging heartstrings, bro, because I'm a Penn State fan. Listen,
I love Patrick Willis.
That is why we are called Linebacker U. I mean, some of the best linebackers in the NFL Penn State. Yeah. So, listen, I understand why you say that. I do. Navarro Bowman. Listen, he was the one, or was it Patrick Willis? Which one broke their leg in the playoffs?
I believe it's Patrick Willis.
Willis, dude. In all honesty, either or, but Willis was the better monster out of them both, I believe. If it wasn't for that injury, dude, Patrick Willis probably would have been better.
I'll tell you another one, that should be in the Hall of Fame right now, and it's just these Hall of Fame classes have been just amazing. Is Zach Thomas from Miami, bro? Like he was awesome everywhere as well. But I just love Navarro Bowman because he was just gritty. He was the best supporting cast for Patrick Willis. He was a leader. Like you never heard anything bad about this guy. He was like the ultimate NFL player. And it's a shame that he didn't play, too long into his career. He would have been a Hall of Famer that everybody's like, dang, I used to hate playing against Navarro Bowman.
All right, Papa, who's your all-time linebacker of all time?
I don't know. There's this one guy. Didn't really go to a big name college, but this one kid, Bobby Boucher, that man hit like a truck.
Okay, I will go. On a serious note,
Dude, honestly, I'm trying to think, so I just want to go with Boucher, and we'll come back.
All right, my man. Listen, it might be a little abstract. I give Ray Lewis 100% credit. Like that man by far should. Honestly, he is for most people. But listen, I really enjoyed watching Brian Urlacher.
Urlacher was good.
Brian Urlacher was a dog. I think he truly made that defense remarkable for the Chicago Bears back in the day, and people feared that man. They really did. So
because he could intercept the ball too. He was the best version of like a coverage linebacker, a sacking linebacker, a hard hitting linebacker, sideline to sideline for a big guy. And a lot of people don't know, man. I've said it before and I'll say it again. That dude was a safety. Kyle Hamilton is the next Brian Urlacher. I'm telling you. NFL teams are going to draft him. They're going to move him to middle linebacker, and it's going to be Brian Urlacher 2.0. People think I'm crazy, but it happened. It happened.
Taylor definitely. Yeah, no, he definitely gets that
Hamilton's
notion.
like 6'4", all that.
But I think if we're talking about favorite players of all time, I'm sure you're looking at the off the field aspect too, because Brian Urlacher was loved.
Yeah.
Navarro Bowman was loved by everybody. Like Lawrence Taylor had some issues off the field. Like we were talking about last year our favorite player, well, not our favorite, but our Mount Rushmore of like defensive players, and we were going through who the best defensive player was of all time. And of course it ended up being Lawrence Taylor and Reggie White. Everybody on our panel chose Reggie White. And the only edge that he had over Lawrence Taylor is because of off the field stuff. Like if we're considering that Terrell Owens is a third ballot Hall of Famer of all time, that's so weird to think about. They consider off the field issues. So I'm considering that when I talk about one of the greatest defensive players of all time, Reggie White is that guy. And, we're not just saying that. It's documented. I'm not an Eagles fan whatsoever, but that dude was awesome, man. He averaged 1 sack a game. I don't even think Lawrence Taylor did that. Averaged 1 sack a game on average. That's crazy for his career.
Okay, so who's your guys' number one safety of all time?
Brian Dawkins.
Oh, dude. John Lynch, I got a picture of him. I was at the Hall of Fame last year. That's my favorite player of all time, man. Love John Lynch.
Brian Dawkins.
Listen, I now yes, but I can't really say that as an Eagle fan.
Even if I wasn't an Eagle fan, I would still say Brian Dawkins.
Now, the only reason that I say that is because if this kid wouldn't have died, he automatically might have been probably
Sean Taylor.
Rest in peace, man.
dude. He might have been the best ever. I'm not gonna lie, and it sucks that he played for Washington because he was that
He wouldn't
freaking.
have for long. He would have demanded a trade.
But I'm telling you right now, dude, Sean Taylor, I have to give that boy credit. Like for how short his career was.
This guy right here, man.
Hey, I have him on my mutt team, so you can be happy about that.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
But yeah, no, Sean Taylor, man, yeah, he was definitely a great safety. You got Ed Reed, another one.
You got Polamalu.
Troy Polamalu.
Brian Dawkins is my number 3.
I
Brian
still
Dawkins is
remember
always gonna
watching
be my number
Polamalu jump that snap. Remember that when he dove right over the defensive? Oh my god!
Yeah,
dude, I lost my shit when I saw that, dude. I was like, how? The flying Hawaiian strikes again.
Yep.
And also another reason was just because I just kind of just grew up with Brian Dawkins. That's literally who I grew up with, and that man going off the field, that man was a very religious man, and that man, if you ever watched his Football Life, Brian Dawkins, that shit tugs on your heartstrings, my guy.
No,
listening
sure.
with all the stuff, like with his youngest child, because he was like, there would literally be times, and he said it, where he would have to shake his youngest child just to keep the heartbeat going. So it was like that man struggled through so much adversity, and then also just again the way that he was on the field, you didn't see anything. You saw his dark visor and his mouthpiece, and you would just hear him say shit like, "I'm gonna take his soul. I'm gonna take this man's soul." And then just the classic coming out the tunnel like the Wolverine.
Now, which Woodson brother was the safety?
Rod? No.
Rod Woodson.
Darren and Rod Woodson.
No.
Were they both safeties?
Mm-hmm.
No, one was.
No. Darren Sharper. Sorry.
One was
it Darren Woodson one? I think Darren Woodson was a safety as well.
I know Rod Woodson was a safety. I don't remember what his brother was.
It was Rod. Rod was the safety because wow.
Yeah. Okay. His brother was also a safety. They were both safeties.
Well, one was definitely a corner though. Charles Woodson was the best. Well,
Rod switched. Yeah,
Rod
was
switched.
A quarterback and he switched to safety.
Yeah,
Darren Woodson was a
corner.
safety for the Cowboys as well, but I mean he wasn't like one of the best of all time.
Yeah, but the Woodson that played for Green Bay and then went to the Raiders. That's corner.
you talk about Charles Woodson.
Charles Woodson, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, now arguably he other than Dion, he's possibly the only other person that you could say that deserves to be number one there, right? I mean, I liked Revis. Don't get me wrong. I remember Revis Island, all that. But
well, you got to think about the versatility of Charles Woodson. So I mean,
yeah,
if you talk about just DBs overall, regardless of position, yeah, he's definitely up there. I'll tell you, still in the draft that I think is going to be the next Charles Woodson, Jalen Petrie from Baylor.
Dude, I like him.
I love that.
I really like
He's
him.
such a switchblade. He's your safety and linebacker. That's a guy that if he's there at second, I'd take.
You take him in the second, yes.
100.
Jabril Peppers on steroids, bro.
He's literally.
This is what we wish
literally
Jabril Peppers
the
was.
definition of your switch army knife. Safety.
Isn't he the one that ran the
block.
4.240 as well?
No, that was the wide receiver from Baylor.
No. There was a corner that did it. A corner safety that did it, and I'm pretty sure that's who did it. He ran like a 4.243.
I can't remember what his 40.
I promise you, I know.
No, I know you're correct. I don't think it was.
He ran a
him,
4.4.
I know what you're.
Okay, yeah, it was
guy
a
from a
4.4.
random school.
Okay, well that was that Oregon, or I swear that was a
I think
Baylor guy.
well, Jalen's from what's his face, Baylor.
Yeah.
I think it's like the Tariq something, like Tariq. I don't know. It's some orange bird. It's the college. I can't remember.
Some orange bird.
You talking about Bowling Green?
No.
Nah, this dude, the corner I'm talking about, I don't know. I swear it was
I gotta
Petrie.
head out, so I'll see you later.
Jalen Petrie?
Yeah. All right, see you, Papa. Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem.
What's up, Papa?
All right. See you, man.
Peace, my guy.
Yeah, no, I like Petrie, man. If we could grab him, I would not mind that either.
He won't be in the first round, most likely, but whoever team he goes to, that's a steal for sure. He's going to be damn good. You're talking about Kalen Barnes from Baylor that had the 4.2. I'm remembering.
Yeah, there it is.
Kalen Barnes from Baylor ran a 4.2.
He's the corner, right?
Yeah, he's the cornerback.
And then you also had JT Woods there.
And he's 6'2", correct?
Kalen Barnes, yeah, he's pretty tall. I'm not sure if he's 6'2" or not. I just remember their defense last year was freaking nasty, man. Let's see how tall Kalen.
They're
Kalen
secondary for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, you saw them just give everybody problems, especially the Oklahoma game, and nobody wanted to play them at home either.
Yeah, he's 6 feet. He's 6 feet.
Well, okay, well, at 6 foot, man, I still wouldn't mind having a 4.2 corner. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, listen, you talk about one thing that a lot of Eagle fans complain about, Slay. We talk about not having enough speed, right? Well, if the kid can play, which from tape that I've saw, he looks good. You know, he is fast. He is kind of physical. Gannon is supposedly a cornerback guru, right? So let's see what he's got. I wouldn't mind that one. I mean, I'm not taking him in the first, but you know,
yeah, I'm kind of like leveraging towards the Eagles taking 2 defensive players in the first round, and then like if it happens and Dotson is there at 51, I'm taking him. That's a no hesitation right there. This dude is one of the best receivers in this class. Like, he is so good. Like, his body control is good. And I don't know how much of a hot take this is, but he reminds me of Tyler Lockett. Lockett had the #1 body control grade for any receivers last year.
So you're talking, bro. You're talking heartstrings. Talking about Penn State.
He's so good, dog.
Yeah, I don't know if I would compare him to Tyler Lockett, but Jahan Dotson is. For Sean Clifford to have been he's so bad. Like, I don't know why you guys just hung on.
Don't ask me, bro. Don't ask me. I don't know.
Yeah, but the Jahan Dotson is, again, we talked about it before. He's not a sexy wide receiver, but he's the most underrated wide receiver in this class for sure. I totally agree with that sentiment. He can pretty much do anything that you want. Not necessarily great. He kind of reminds me, him and Velus Jones Jr. from Tennessee, like, is a perfect gadget guy, but he's another one that just kind of came on his own last year.
I was thinking of the guy from Denver. What's his face?
KJ Hamler.
No. The other
No,
one.
you're talking about
Judy.
the guy that's
Jerry
always
Judy.
hurt.
Yeah, he reminds me more of a Jerry Judy type player. Dotson.
I also heard Keenan Allen. I heard a lot of
He's too
that.
small.
Yeah, not that small. He's 6 feet 5'11".
Keenan Allen is
He's-
a hell of a
Keenan
route
Allen's
runner, though.
6'4".
Oh, he's 6'4".
Keenan Allen's
I thought he
6'4".
was like 6'2". Damn.
No.
Yeah, he's 6'4", but he's a hell of a route runner, though. I don't think Jahan's like the best route runner out
Yeah,
there, but
I can agree with that. Like
he's
dude's
very
body
strong
control.
too. I don't think people give Jahan the credit that he is for the size that he is, like how strong he is. Like he used to pull cornerbacks, and there was what game was it, man? There was one play he came off a press, moved that guy to the side, and pretty much shook the safety out of his shoes and caught a long pass.
Yeah, I remember one game he had like a jump ball and it was around like 3 defenders.
And he's
just
good at
jumped
that
up.
too.
That was crazy.
He was our offense, especially when it comes to the passing game. You're right. Clifford. He's been given gifts to God in the football world, because without these kids, he'd be nothing. I think it's a joke that we've kept him around as long as we have. Now you got to remember, I'm the Joe Paterno era. I mean that's my whole life.
I'm in the Bobby Bowden era. So
Yeah,
man.
and I think what they did to him was disgusting and wrong. And it is what it is. But I don't like the direction we went after everything happened. And yeah, Clifford, he just needs to go, dude. We need to get something better.
Don't y'all have Kevin Washington too? The other receiver?
Yeah.
I thought they had him. Because I remember him being behind Dotson. It might have been.
Yeah, but I mean, but Dotson was the guy. I mean, he was the dude.
Yeah, Dotson, that dude's a monster. Mooney, maybe I could see Mooney, but Mooney, I don't know. It's a little different with Mooney, because Mooney's speed, he's electric. Dotson's just more body control, hands. Route running needs a little improve a little, but
no, I will say, man, we have actually produced really well with wide receivers lately. I mean, you think about it, we have Allen Robinson, we have Godwin, we have Dotson coming out. We had Hamler. He's in Denver. Who else am I missing here?
Allen Robinson.
Yeah, Allen Robinson.
Who was the one with Allen Robinson in Jacksonville? You had 2 Penn State
Allen
dudes.
Hearns.
Yeah.
Hearns. Yeah, you had Hearns at one time. Like, we've actually produced really good wide receivers lately, which is really weird for us. We don't usually do that, We've never been really good at halfbacks. Like, we've of course Larry Johnson, but if you look back, dude, we've had some great halfbacks like Curtis Enos and all that, who were stellar in college, and as soon as they got to the NFL,
Who was the one dude with the crazy name back in the 90s?
You had Curtis Enos, you had Larry Johnson,
not a receiver, but a tight end, Mike Gesicki.
Oh, Gesicki. Yep.
Gesicki.
Well, he's technically a receiver, so yeah, you can throw him in
he
there.
plays like it.
What is the dude's name? Kajana Carter.
Kajana Carter, yeah, dude. Oh my god, I loved watching him play in college, man. He was amazing. And then, dude, it's never been good. Saquon, great in college, not so much in NFL. Miles Sanders, greatest. Yeah, Miles Sanders, great in his last year of college, not so great in the NFL. We've never had the halfback luck, even though we've had it in college. They've been great.
You know who was perfect for Penn State?
What's that?
That picked up, and he went into the transfer portal. I think he was one of the most underrated quarterbacks, man. Jayden Daniels, that came from Arizona State. LSU picked him up. You guys,
I heard about him.
Jayden Daniels was awesome. He would have been great for Penn State, man. But I just don't understand why people didn't utilize the transfer portal better than they have. But to bring Sean Clifford back for his 6th year,
Yeah, no.
He
You
went to
guys are
LSU,
expecting to
right?
polish a turd, man.
He went to LSU, right? McDaniels or Daniels.
Jayden Daniels went to Arizona State.
Arizona. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he came from Arizona. Oh, you're talking about where he transferred to. Yeah, he went
Yeah.
to LSU. He's not going to be a starter there.
That's good.
He's not going to be the starter there, most likely.
But yeah, no, I mean we have plenty of superstars from. I mean, dude, even defensively, you know, we've named linebackers, but we also have plenty of edge rushers that have came from Penn State. You know, like Cameron Wake.
Cameron Wake's story was crazy. He went to the Canadian
Right?
Football League, then came to Miami and just like started tearing stuff up.
Right?
That dude was a freak.
You have who was the one from Kansas City? Weird name too. Tamba Ali.
Yeah, Tamba Ali. That wore
Tamba
the
Ali,
face
dude.
mask as well.
Oh my god, that he was a freak.
The dude wore long sleeves in 100-degree weather. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, no, and he was a monster in college.
What happened to Tamba Ali, man?
He retired from Kansas City.
Logan, what's good?
Wow.
Yo, what's good, Logan?
How long was his career? Let me Google that real quick.
I think he played for like 12 years, dude. And he played all of his years in Kansas City.
Yeah, he played 11 years. Wow.
Yeah.
I thought
he did amazing.
Who are y'all talking about?
Tamba Ali.
Oh, yeah, Tamba.
Dude, he did amazing. He was a fantastic piece for Kansas City for 11 years. He don't get a lot of credit. He doesn't.
Why are we not talking about Tamba Ali more? Look at the
dude. He was fantastic, dude. Fantastic.
I always used to
these
get
numbers
him
out. In 11 years, he had 33 forced fumbles, 2 interceptions, 89.5 sacks, like 596 tackles, 159 quarterback hits, and 1 safety. Why are we not talking about Tamba Ali that might be in the Hall of Fame?
He is. He should be. I'm expecting him to be in soon. Like Tamba Ali, dude, he was a very big centerpiece for that Kansas City defense for a long time. Long time. In fact, if I'm correct, I believe that Jones was his replacement. If I'm not correct.
I think so.
I'm pretty sure. What's his first name? Not Chandler. It's Is it Chris Jones?
Yeah, Chris Jones. Yeah,
it is that simple.
Who's kind of who's kind of
I believe he was the person that took over for Tamba after he retired. Which is not a bad replacement. He filled in very nicely.
Yep.
But yeah, no, Tamba was amazing. I'm trying to think of the other ones. Well, you said the other linebacker earlier from Dallas.
Paul Posluszny.
Paul Posluszny. Yeah. Even LeVar Arrington, man. I give LeVar props, where they're due.
LeVar was awesome.
He was awesome. He just went to a crappy organization still. Washington was still crap back in the day. So but his legs didn't hold up.
Check this out, right? I just wanted to compare him and Ray Lewis, who's in the Hall of Fame, who played, almost 20 years. All right, so Tamba Ali has 89.5 sacks. Ray Lewis had 41.5. Ray Lewis had a ton of interceptions though. He had 31. But if you're talking about a ton of tackles, but everything else, if we're talking about tackles for loss, Ray Lewis had 99. Tamba Ali had 105 in 11 years. He had the quarterback hits 159 for Tamba Ali. Ray Lewis had 40.
Ali was a big
crazy.
disruptor. He was a big disruptor for that Chiefs team.
I'm all on board for thinking that Tamba Ali should be in the Hall of Fame.
Here's the question though: is he the best one to come from Penn State?
They're linebacker though. So let's see.
Like, I'm talking out of all defensive players. I'm talking from the line. I'm talking from linebackers. I'm talking
Well,
all
I
defensive
mean,
players.
it
No,
might
he
change.
The
played
best
11
defensive
years.
player from Penn
Yeah.
State.
Yeah, like he played 11 years. I know Pizlesny did, but I don't even think Pizlesny had that many sacks. I'm not sure what his tackles and all that are, but that's some pretty hard stats to compare to. I don't even think Cameron Wake can even be close.
What Hall of Famer did you guys have? I don't think he's out doing that. Jack Ham from Pittsburgh. I believe Jack Ham went to Penn State, didn't he? Let me see. Let me
I don't know.
real quick. Yep, Penn State. Yeah, ain't nobody beating Jack Ham.
Okay.
Yeah, he's probably the best one. LeVar Arrington's up there though. You remember Courtney Brown that used to play for the Browns?
Yes.
He was Penn State.
I didn't even know they had Mostert, Raheem Mostert.
Who?
You guys,
Us who?
the Penn State.
We did?
Raheem Mostert came from Penn State.
Raheem Mostert?
Oh
from
no,
Penn
no,
State?
wrong thing. My bad.
I was about to say, no, that's something I would have
I
known.
think Raheem. Where did Raheem Mostert go? I think he came from a Big Ten school. I don't think it was Penn State though. Where did he go? I'm imagining the jersey right now. I think he went to Purdue.
Yeah, he went to Purdue.
Yeah, okay.
Wrong P.
Yep.
Yeah, wrong.
Wrong P.
I mean, y'all have had a couple good players from there. I mean, Barkley, Adrian Amos, decent, not great, but decent. Just looking, Robbie Gold went there.
Yatir Gross Matos is on the Panthers.
Yeah,
He was good.
defensive end from Carolina.
Yo, whatever happened to what's his face? That got drafted here the year Sanders did, the defensive end dude.
Oh, Sharif Miller.
Yeah, whatever happened to Miller?
I mean, I think he's still in the league, but he's just not on our roster.
Yeah, I know that. I knew that. I just wonder where he went.
Oh, he might have went to. I think he went to. I don't even think he's in the NFL no more. He might have went to the USFL. Yeah, he went to the Breakers, the New Orleans Breakers.
I have to watch those games. I didn't even get a chance to watch the USFL games.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, they're good. I was quite impressed how good they were.
Yeah, which is unusual for me, but it's draft time, so I just been trying to watch film, and I did like 10 mocks up to this point for the show tomorrow. So I'm like, make sure my film is matching up with what I've actually seen. So
hey, bro, love your videos, man.
No, definitely. Everyone out there who's watching right now, appreciate you all for tuning in. Definitely go check my boy Dante out. East Coast Gridiron Podcast. They do some great work. They have great videos. Definitely go sell them up if you haven't.
Appreciate that, my man. Yep,
no problem.
We love this stuff, man.
So I gotta ask, dude, who would you guys say, in your opinion, is the greatest wide receiver of all time, man?
Oh,
I mean, it's Jerry.
Yeah,
I mean, nobody's. So it was something crazy that I was reading the other day. I can't think of the statistic, but like wide receivers nowadays would have to average like 20 years or like 15 years of like 1,000-yard seasons, over 100 catches, like 10 touchdowns a year. That, to me, that's like the Wayne Gretzky thing. Like Wayne Gretzky's records will never be broken as far as points go. It's going to be impossible. And I would say almost the same thing with Jerry too. Like if Cooper Kupp ends up having the same season he's had for like the next 10 years, maybe that might be him, but that's not happening, man. I severely
so you're basing it strictly on just because of how many receiving yards he has?
Receiving yards, touchdowns, receptions, like it's crazy that span of time that he had to do that in. It's just incredible. I think the real question is, who's our number 2 of all time? Because I think Jerry Rice has to be number 1 on everybody's list.
Moss?
Well, see, here's the thing, man. There's one thing that I've always said, and I listen. I get it, but I put Calvin Johnson right up there with the best of them. And I know a lot of people. I swear, I know a lot of people look down on that. A lot of people question it, but you know what? The man went to the worst franchise in all of football, Detroit. You know, the reason he didn't get out of Detroit and go anywhere else is because they owned his ass. You know, that he couldn't go anywhere. Even if he would come back today, he'd still have to play for Detroit. Like, there is no out for him. The same thing happened to Barry Sanders. That's why Barry went, you know. You got to look at it like the dude did phenomenal things with a crappy team. If it wasn't for Calvin Johnson, Detroit would have not even been on the radar. You know what I mean? Like,
I think we kind of share almost an extension of that, like, because I think Matt Stafford is a Hall of Famer.
Agreed.
I agree. I agree with you.
Yeah, I just think about it, and I knew it, bro. I called that last year. As soon as Matt Stafford, there's a video on our channel where I was like, it was like last January when he got traded. As soon as that happened, I was like, they're going to Super Bowl. They're about to win. And Cooper Kupp's going to be the number one receiver next year.
Well, I mean,
you're crazy.
Dude, if you gave Calvin Johnson, he played 9 years, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And he quit because if he didn't, he wasn't going to be able to get out of bed ever again. Which respect, I give you 100% props for that. Most people would keep going. You were like, nah, I'm not going to be stupid. But if you could have truly given Calvin Johnson 10 more years like Jerry Rice had, you can't sit there and tell me that man wouldn't have challenged it. He would have.
Absolutely.
He would have.
The only thing I can say about Calvin Johnson, though, that I can kind of rebuttal back to that, even though I understand he was a freak and everything, there was some games that I watched where I'm like, Calvin Johnson really dropped that pass.
Yeah, but he drop passes at times, man.
I think his catch percentage was a little low compared to some other Hall of Famers. I had to look it up. I think it was like in the 50s. I think Jerry Rice was in the 60s, but I think Calvin was in the 50s.
Okay, now I got a rebuttal to that, though. You're talking about the Detroit Lions. Everyone knew 100% of the time when that ball was thrown, it was going to Calvin. So therefore, if you would have put Calvin Johnson, say, on Pittsburgh or on the Eagles or on I can't say your team.
Yeah, I mean, their team.
You know what I'm saying? On a team that actually had other weapons, you can't say that. Like, you knew that's where the ball was going. So therefore, you could put 3 dudes on him and know that's where it's still going to go. Because 80% of the time, Calvin Johnson was still coming down with that ball, even though he was triple coverage.
And Stafford was a gunslinger, too. So
yeah.
It's 50-50.
That's my only argument to that. If he would have had, I don't even think he had Golden Tate, did he? Because he was retired by the time Golden Tate got there. Right, that was a Galladay situation.
Yeah,
because I think Golden Tate was on the Seahawks first.
Yeah,
and Galladay,
and then he went to the Giants.
Yeah,
and Galladay just came in when he retired, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he never truly had help, ever.
Yep.
That was his main weapon. That's
Other
why.
Than, what's his name? Nate Burleson. That was the only receiver that was consistent.
Yeah, that you're right. So I look at little things like that, man. It's like, what would he have actually been on another team? Yeah. One, he probably would have been way healthier because he wouldn't have had to take the abuse and punishment that he took in Detroit.
Well, with that being said, too, let's think about something interesting about Detroit, right? So not only do you have Calvin Johnson, who could have probably been the best ever, like you're saying, given the circumstances, Matt Stafford, who I think is a Hall of Famer, you can argue that, and everybody either has Barry Sanders as their number one,
he's the best
back,
ever.
or
he's
number 2. Yeah. I think so too. I honestly think Barry Sanders was the best player in the NFL of all time.
Bro, I said this the other day, and I had and actually Boys for Life, the Dallas guy that was in here earlier, he even agreed with me. No lie, if you would have swapped Emmitt Smith and Barry Sanders would have made Emmitt Smith's records look even worse. He behind that Dallas Cowboy line, no one would have stopped Barry. Not a single person.
I'll tell you what's impressive about Barry Sanders and nobody ever talks about it. And you might remember this, AK, back from the 90s, because I believe we're probably around the same age.
I'm 35, so.
I'm 32. So back in the 90s, how many times did Barry Sanders get tackled for loss and end up having 150 yards? I think I read some crazy stat about that a couple of weeks ago. He was the most he was the most tackled for loss running back ever in NFL history, and still almost
Most
averaged 100 yards a
contacted,
game.
most contacted halfback in NFL history. He's been hit the most times out of any halfback in all of history, and that's the thing, dude. I still remember the game where Barry Sanders ran through the entire Dallas defense. You remember that? He broke like 9 or 10 tackles. Like, and that's what I'm saying. And he had that crappy line, dude. Imagine if he just would have had Dallas's offensive line. He would have, dude, Emmitt Smith's records would have been.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Lions have had a lot of those.
Nothing, dude. Nothing.
The way I feel about Barry Sanders, like, he could have, that's why I consider him the best of all time. He could have done it. Like, bearing injuries in his early retirement, he would have broke the records. It's the same way how I feel about Jonathan Taylor in college. Like, if Jonathan Taylor would have stayed 3 more games and averaged 99 yards a game for those 3 games, he would have broke all the records for a running back in college. I feel the same way about Barry Sanders in the NFL. Like, he's still considered the best to me. I think Jonathan Taylor is one of the best running backs in college in college history. I think Ricky Williams still is number 1 for me, but Barry Sanders is the best running back of all time. Jim Brown, though, you can almost argue Jim Brown because Jim Brown is the only running back. I think he played 9 years. He's the only running back to average 100 yards rushing a game, which is freaking impressive.
Yeah, and then the Lions have also had a lot of great players, though. Herman Moore, Night Train Lane, like they've had a lot. They just never get the.
You know what sucks so Slay is it seems like they never can get them at one time.
Yeah,
like you have Calvin Johnson, you had Barry Sanders, then you had Night Train Lane, then you had Barney, then you had
Herman Moore.
They weren't ever all on the same team all at once. Imagine if you could have taken all the greats that Detroit had and put them all on the same team at one time. We're probably talking something completely different.
Oh, another one is Ndamukong too.
Yeah. But I mean, imagine if you could have Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders on the same offense.
That would be.
Imagine this too. Check this out. I think the next great Lions player is T.J. Hawkinson.
I agree.
T.J. Hawkinson is. You could probably put him in. Imagine him, Calvin Johnson, Barry Sanders, Matt Stafford on that offense, Herman Moore on the other side, bro. That's a Hall of Fame team.
Dude, in all honesty, I think I was just about to say, dude, and another guy, not to throw him out there, but St. Brown.
Yeah, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Amon-Ra is pretty badass, dude. I gotta say that. Listen, I had him in fantasy last year, bench just in case. But this kid, I think he's gonna be something special. Watch him.
Check it out, AK. Me and you had the same idea. I have a video last year saying that he was my most underrated wide receiver. So everybody that's out there talking about USC receivers are not good. Amon-Ra St. Brown and Michael Pittman are too. But then also look at this, right? I drafted them last year for my fantasy team. I let him go halfway through the season just because they weren't throwing his way. And my wife was like, and she won our fantasy league. She was like, who should I pick up at wide receiver? She had like Jamar Chase and some other guys. I was like, Amon-Ra St. Brown had that one good game in like week 14 or something.
Yeah.
I was like, pick him up and see if they throw to him. Because usually Jared Goff, he would throw to the same guy over and over and over and over. And she picked him up and she won partially because he was on the team. I was like, I told the people this kid was going to be good, man.
Oh, yeah, he was. I actually wanted him on our team last year.
Yeah. Also, don't forget Khalif Raymond. He's another guy there. He's decent, but that's a good combo next to Amon-Ra St. Brown. And then you got Hawkinson. And I guarantee you Swift is going to be a big fantasy guy this year. I gotta ask you, man, is there any chance in hell that they take a wide receiver or two? Nah, that's too risky.
Man,
not for the Dolphins or not for the Detroit Lions. It ain't, dude. Nothing's risky at this point.
True.
Well, I doubt all the news that is coming out of Jacksonville. I doubt that they're drafting Aiden Hutchinson at number 1 because the buzz is coming out and saying that they're gonna shock the world. I think they're gonna take Kayvon Thibodeau. That's just me, but I think if that happens, Detroit picks up Aiden Hutchinson, and then they pick up a linebacker later on at 32, like Christian Harris from Alabama. I think that kid's gonna be pretty good too. I don't think they take a wide receiver.
It's going to
Way
be
too early.
32 is going to be Matt Corral. Watch, I guarantee it.
Really?
I promise. Because they're going to want to
Jared
put,
Goff's job.
like you said, they're going to want to put. If we would take him over here, it's because we want to put pressure on Jalen Hurts. But right now, I don't feel that's what they're going to do because of that pick that we got for next year. So that's exactly what Detroit will do, though, because they're not married to him. I think they take Matt Corral at 32 and make Golf work for it.
Yeah, what I could see Jacksonville doing is taking either one of the edges or trading down and then taking Aquanu.
They're not trading down.
What do you?
That's
Would
not
they
It's
really,
always a thought. You
really
never
take
know.
Walker, man? Because
Like,
I've had
if you get a big offer,
could be one. Would they really do that?
Trayvon Walker is too much like Josh Allen on our defensive line.
I
I
agree.
mean, that's his comparable, and they have the same moveset. So what do? You can't really switch them from one side to another. In our defense, they switch Josh Allen playing the left side and the right side. If you bring in Kayvon Thibodeau, I told everybody, watch the tape on that kid. He is very reminiscent of Von Miller. And
I
he has
agree.
every single skill set in the book to be a dominant, edge rusher. That's why I think they're going to try to pull the trigger on that. And for some reason, with the coaches that were brought in and the linebacker coach, I forget his name. He was like Von Miller's, linebacker coach and with the Broncos. So with that being said, that's an easy transition for Kayvon Thibodeau to come in and mold himself. But with the number 2 pick there too, AK, like if Detroit does not pick Aiden Hutchinson, being from Michigan too, the Lions fans are going to lose their minds if he's there.
That's
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, they're in the entertainment business. You got to choose.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Is there any way that could be even a Pickett or a Willis?
For Detroit?
Yeah.
Pickett's last year was his best year with the Biletnikoff winner. The other 3 years he was there, being a 4-year guy, were not as great. So I think you look at that. Malik Willis has a lot of upside. I think if Matt Corral's not there, that's probably who you choose, or you go straight to the Cincinnati kid and Desmond Ridder, who's just been climbing up people's draft boards, which
I don't understand that.
He'd be pretty good. He had an amazing Senior Bowl. Like him and Sam Howell were the 2 best quarterbacks there. Carson Strong sucked. Malik Willis, I'll tell you, there was this one play that Malik Willis did, man. It was like a 3rd and 3. And I remember I was in a chat with my guy Don, and we were watching it, and I was like, if Malik Willis tries to force his ball in there, the whole right side of the field, they were on the left hash mark, right? It was 3rd and 3. And of course, they're saying this kid has like a pair of legs, can rush, all this other stuff. He literally rolls out, looks to the left side where he had a triple wide receiver setup. They went down the field. He tried to almost force the ball into that coverage with all the safeties over top instead of just running for the 3 yards and keeping the drive open. He was sitting there like, oh, should I throw it? And then he saw a linebacker rushing him right in the middle, and then he decided to run after that. I'm like, that's not a smart play whatsoever. You take the 3 yards, especially if you got a pair of legs on you. You take the 3 yards, slide, give your team 4 more chances instead of forcing the ball in the end zone, and it's going to be an interception in the NFL all day. That was like literally the one play I was like, Malik Willis is just not there yet. Because I would have, if I was his coach, I would have been like, I
don't think any of us have truly sat here and said that he's a polished quarterback. I mean, if anything, when you look at Malik Willis, it's more about the ahs and oohs than it is anything. But I have been on record saying it. I do like Malik Willis. I like what he brings to the table. In my eyes, he is a stronger, faster Jalen Hurts and a smaller Michael Vick that's right-handed. He does have a cannon on him. He can throw the ball, but he does need work. His vision needs tweaked. His vision on the field reading defenses needs work. But he does have the intangibles, and he does have the athleticism to be a very good quarterback.
I think if you put Ridder in an offense where, give him a year, I think Ridder could be good. Like I think Ritter's got the talent for sure. And
Ritter
with
could go
Willis,
to a
yeah,
Ritter
so-
would be good on like New England.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but I
If
mean,
you
let's
spend a
be
year
honest.
at
So other
Georgia,
than
Willis.
Pickett and Willis, no one's really truly a first round talent quarterback.
No, but I can tell you what though, how my quarterbacks go right now on my list. Everybody knows my love for Matt Corral. It's the best quarterback that I've scouted since Andrew Luck. I say that through and through because the tape is there. Dude did not have an offensive line. Dude did not have any weapons. The defense was terrible, and he was the best player in the country. It reminded me of Kyler Murray's season when he won the Heisman. Second on my list would be Sam Howell. Not because of what he did during the regular season, but it's kind of like, what have you done for me lately? He played in the Senior Bowl with nobodies like that he's never played with before and was the best quarterback there. Desmond Ridder was another good one. But number 3, and I don't know why this kid gets skipped on so much. He had a better season than Joe Burrow, was Bailey Zappi out of Western Kentucky. I try to tell people, I'm like, how many people were watching Western Kentucky Hilltoppers games last year? Nobody.
Slay.
So,
What name did I say a couple months back?
Bailey Zappi.
I was right there with you, Dante. No lie. I've watched Zappy. You know, there's nothing fancy about him. Do not get me wrong.
He's not sexy
There's
at all.
nothing fancy about this kid. Like, he honestly looks like Mac Jones coming out of college. Like, he's built like Mac. He's nothing special. Like, there's no six pack. It's like he doesn't run, but dude, he's got a great arm. He really
fifth-year player.
He's got good accuracy too. I like.
Yeah.
He's a 5th-year player. He came from the mud, man. Let me tell you. The first 2 years he was at JUCO, transferred to Western Kentucky, stuck it out, had that amazing year last year. People better prepare. I was saying this to be completely honest with you. I'm not the biggest Trevor Lawrence fan. Never was. Is Doug Peterson great for what they're trying to do? He was the right coach to come there and try to mold the talent around Trevor Lawrence. He cannot do it alone. What you need to do is you need to bring somebody like Bailey Zappi in that not only, just came up throughout the mud, going through a JUCO school, coming to Western Kentucky where there was not a lot of expectations. The limelight is not going to be too big for that kid. And what do you think he's going to do in your quarterback room with Trevor Lawrence? He's going to make him 10 times better. Like, he's going to put him on his toes every single practice because Bailey Zappi's not expected to be the starter. And people are going to be Trevor would be very scared of that because Bailey Zappi's skill set, like you said, is not very sexy, but he's consistent, doesn't turn the ball over, can read defenses, not a first read quarterback, and is his accuracy. If you're talking about all the quarterbacks that are here outside of Matt Corral, he's probably the most accurate quarterback when it comes to short and intermediate routes. And what is Jacksonville's their new offense predicated around? Christian Kirk, who we don't really know how that's going to work out. Laviska Shenault is going to be a beast if Bailey Zappi was the quarterback. I mean, he would have a 1,500-yard season if Bailey Zappi was his quarterback.
Yeah, as you said, his accuracy is really good, and
he's a beast,
footwork,
man.
Yeah, his footwork too. His footwork's very consistent. Like, it's there, like you could tell.
I gotta ask you, man. What's going on over there with your halfback room? Because I know you guys got Travis Etienne coming back. I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen there because I know you guys drafted him because of the Trevor Lawrence connection and all that. But I mean, listen, I've always been a Robinson fan. I think Robinson is probably the most underrated halfback in the NFL. He does not get the credit he deserves, and I think, Urban Meyer last year, he was a fool not using him. But, if you end up trading him, you can send him our way for sure.
So to answer your question, man, like James Robinson, of course, was underutilized last year up until the week that he got hurt late in the season when we started using him because all the players are like, you're really benching James Robinson because of one fumble. When you have Derrick Henry who fumbles 5 times a year, that's absolutely blasphemous. Like, how, like Fred Taylor said, he was, in and out of those rooms, and he was saying, why would you bench James instead of giving him the confidence to come back and run another play and build that confidence back in his mind that he can do it?
Right?
I think James Robinson should be our number one running back. But if you're talking about Travis Etienne, here's my problem with him is now we have this stigma in his head before the injury that we could use him as, that Swiss Army knife type of guy. So I don't know what they're going to do with him. He is very fast, one of the fastest running backs in the NFL. But the thing with Travis Etienne, he's not very good at reading where he should go. Like that ball carrier vision that everybody talks about is not very good. Clemson, when he was there, had one of the best offensive lines. If you watch the game, I think it was the game against Duke a couple years ago when he was there, that offensive line, and I mean, we're talking about Duke, but still, the offensive line was busting open seams for him just to run out the middle and do whatever the hell he wants. I think this is how you do it. James Robinson should be your third down back every single day of the week. Don't care.
Yep.
Give him the rock. Let him do it. He's only going to help Trevor get better because you have to scheme around him. Put Travis Etienne in there for those short intermediate game where you're talking about where he's going to perform is screen passes all over the place. If you did that, Jacksonville is going to be a hell on offense. And you know who's the best coach to design around that? Doug P.
Take care of him, man. Take care of him.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I honestly believe
I'm happy.
I honestly believe that, and I know this might sound crazy, but I'm telling you, man, Jacksonville is going to compete next year.
Don't be stealing my shit, Slay.
I
said that too, man. If Doug keeps going the way he's going, now granted, I think it's a little blasphemy that y'all paid $17 million a year for Kirk, but that's beyond the point. But Doug knows what he's doing, and I do believe next year you guys will make the playoffs, if not this year. I mean, I've seen Doug do some crazy shit, and he's already done it once before. So listen, I know it's crazy, Slay, but listen, if any man could do it, it is him.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. And they do have a pretty decent team. Their team might not all be there, but they have some decent weapons in certain positions.
If out of everybody's offseason, we did it the right way. This is what Urban Meyer should have did last year with all the draft cap that we had. The only two decisions that I wish were never made and hurt my soul when it happened. I think DJ Chark should have stayed. The injury was not fair. Of course, it's fluky. But he was a Pro Bowl wide receiver that was a downfield threat. Yeah. And we got rid of one of the most underrated linebackers that went to the perfect team in Miles Jack. Yeah. Why we let those two go was absolutely blasphemous. But everything else, we filled in for him with some younger guys that were able to come in. So the first thing I'll tell you is I think if Jacksonville has a 9-win season, that is perfect for us, and that should be the expectation for Doug Peterson. And then let's grow from there, right?
Yep.
The second thing is, with your Christian Kirk comment about the $17 million that we were paying him, you have to really think about which market that he's going to. So we were going to have to pay anybody an extraordinary amount of money to come to Jacksonville, and I think that's one of the reasons why he got what he paid. Because Allen Robinson said, "I'm not coming back to Jacksonville. The market down there is terrible." When he was at Penn State, he was like, that was the one team I didn't want to get drafted by. Yeah. So if we want to bring talent in, I mean, we had the money to do it, which seemed crazy in everybody else's eyes. We have a ton of money. Yeah, you have to pay Christian Kirk $17 million for him to come and want to play Jacksonville. I mean, it just is what it is.
Well, and no lie, man. In all honesty, I've always questioned your guys' ethic to your team because I feel it's a tax write-off. I'm not gonna lie, and I only questioned that when you guys did your stadium redo and you guys put hot tubs
swimming pools in there. Yep.
Yeah, I'm not going to a football stadium to sit in a hot tub.
Well, you hear what they're doing in the Jacksonville facilities. They want to make it like a mall for people just to come and visit. And
yeah, that's dumb. That's no,
that's not how you do it.
No,
and the teams. So check this out, right? This is how you know the teams are going a little crazy and start putting their expectations in the wrong place. How many times have we seen Jacksonville do jersey switches or any other team that's been struggling? How many times do you see them switch their jerseys? Because
they've done it more than anyone, haven't they?
We switched it 4 times in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Because we want a new identity every single time. Oh, yeah, we're not wearing as much till. Let that be the home jersey. We had all blacks at one point. Like, any team that you see doing that is automatically a red flag. Detroit did it twice in the last 20 years. That's a red flag, So, I have to think about it like that. Like we're of course, and that's a Nike move from what I hear too. Like, Nike makes a lot of the decisions around their jerseys, but still they're doing that because it's like, all right, you guys need a new identity again. Let's get your fans excited, so let's do a new jersey design. So I totally get it from a marketing perspective, but we're putting money. We have a ton of money and we're putting it in the wrong places. I'm sure Jacksonville's facilities are probably the best in the NFL, but doesn't really matter when you're not winning games. And this is what drove me nuts right here, man. And I as you can tell, I get passionate about this stuff. 2018, when we went to the AFC Championship game, let's name all those Pro Bowl defensive players that helped us get there that got shown the door the next season. Yannick Ngakoue, Calais Campbell,
AJ
Boye, and Jalen Hurts, and Ronnie Harrison went to the Browns. Like, that was our whole defense, or at least half of it.
That linebacker that you had, not Miles Jack. I'm a big fan of Miles Jack.
Miles Jack is good. You're talking about, he played at Florida State.
Paul Cross something.
No, Paul Posluszny, he retired.
Oh yeah,
but he handed the torch off to he played at Florida State, man. I know what you're talking about. He was number 50. Yeah, he was like that Levante David type, sideline to sideline, was smaller for the position than people thought. Yeah, he ended up like touching on some little girl or something. So you can't control that. Just
was
being a
it
knucklehead.
Sherbert, or was it the other guy?
No, Sherbert came in for like 3 games and he got traded to the Steelers, I believe. Ah, man, what the hell was his name? I remember him.
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah. Oh, Paul Posluszny or Posluszny, I think.
Yeah,
no,
he was. That wasn't him though.
He was number 51.
Yeah, but the guy that we're talking about that was a standout was he played at Florida State. He was number 50. You know how I'm talking about, AK. I just can't remember his name. But he was part of like that new school transition that we're starting to see with like the Devin Lloyds and stuff like that.
Oh,
Telvin Smith.
Telvin Smith. Yeah,
Telvin Smith. Yeah,
dude, he was actually a freak, man.
Yeah, he was excellent.
Yeah.
So that ended up happening the same year they got rid of the defense too. So it was like we were just stuck with peanuts with Josh Allen and Miles Jack. And those two are, Josh Allen's underrated as well. It's like, man, we bring in talent and then just get rid of it.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. Your talent doesn't want to play for you, and that goes back on like your owner and your organization, because it's like, well, there's a reason that they don't want to play for you. What is that reason? Well, do you guys take football serious there enough, or is it just truly just, you know what I mean?
Well, from what I hear from watching interviews with the former players that were part of that defense, a lot of them came out and said, outside of the Telvin Smith issue, because you can't control him touching the little girls, but outside of that, when Tom Coughlin came in, he was bringing a mentality that nobody liked. Like he was making them wear like certain pair of socks, and it just kind of thrown off their groove completely, and he felt like he could control the team. And that was when people were like, yep, just trade me, get rid of me. I don't want to be here anymore. And the front office listened to Tom Coughlin instead of the players. So I was like, that's absolutely insane, man.
Well, and see, that's the thing. Whenever Tom Coughlin used to coach the Giants, he kind of coached the Giants how Bill Belichick coaches New England. He didn't take bullshit. He you did what he wanted to do, and that's kind of how it was, He didn't put up with the bullshit. He didn't. If you didn't do what he wanted, he made you known about it, and then you either did it or you were off his team. And I believe that Jacksonville at the time, whenever Coughlin left New York, and let's get it right. I mean, Tom Coughlin had nothing but respect in New York. He did, and it worked there. But that's New York. His way of football wouldn't have worked in Jacksonville. Jacksonville isn't like that. They're not that serious up tempo. And I'm not disrespecting you guys. It's just when you think Jacksonville, you don't think of people who take their football serious there, as in like the players, not the fans. The fans all day, you root for that team. That's your team. But the players, we don't think they take, they don't really enjoy playing there. So they don't play to their full potential. They don't take it serious. To where in New York they do. When you play in New York for the Giants on Sunday night, like you better bring it all. When you play in Philly, you better bring it all. Certain places you can get away with being lackluster. Other places you can't. So,
I mean, think about it, man. Like, we only have one Hall of Famer, and that's Tony Baselli that got in this year.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people are in our Ring of Honor? Jimmy Smith and Fred Taylor and Keenan McCardell. And I think Mark Brunell's in there. Like, there's not which could have been Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey could have been that guy. Jalen didn't want to leave. He loved playing in Jacksonville. But it's, like you said, it's not a market that not only is historic, so they don't have a lot of history. And then when you have players there that are trying to bring history and trying to build the franchise up, you just show them the door because you're bringing, that old school mentality back. And Tom Coughlin expected everything to be like the AFC Championship team that played against New England that one year and lost. And it's like, it's like, and you'll get this reference, right? It's like trying to tell your son that he needs to wear Jinko jeans because that's what we used to wear in the 90s.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't work. Things change.
Yeah.
Players change, interests change, and when you start, he was able to treat those players back in the day like college players because they weren't making as much money as they are now. And I've said it on our show previous times, man, these coaches need to know that they are managing 53 small businesses. And when they get that in their mind, you can coach from there, but you got to build that respect of like, Deebo Samuel is a perfect example right now. The dude wants $250 million. Is he the best wide receiver in the NFL? That's questionable. Cooper Kupp just had an amazing season, but the way his versatility and what he showed last year, he's like, well, what about me lately? What have I shown you? So, you got to think about that aspect too. But yeah, man, we're definitely not a market that people want to come to, and you got to pay a high dollar to get those players there. Until we start building a culture on, success. Carolina was the same expansion team, that came on board with us in 94. So, and you have Carolina who doesn't switch their jerseys, doesn't build all this crazy stuff. They have diehard fans, and they've had a history of winning. They've been to the Super Bowl twice and lost both times. And they only lost that one Super Bowl because John Casey kicked it out of bounds. I mean, it just is what it is. Like, we don't have that history like the Panthers have. So it's tough to get people to come there. Panthers don't have problems bringing people in.
Well, no. Now I gotta ask before we get out of here, man. Like I said, we got 9 days coming up before the draft. What team do you fear the most, and what team is your favorite going in so far into the draft for next year? Like early Super Bowl prediction. Like who's done enough for you to win their vote so far?
So you're saying if they draft really well and what?
No, just before the draft. Here, like as they sit right now. Is it the Raiders? Is it the Chargers? Is it Denver?
So I try to think about the teams that have the least holes in their team and have actually showed promise and have done the right things, right? So if we're thinking about the AFC, I'm probably going to go the Chargers. For the NFC, this one's going to be a little weird for people, but I think if this one guy is able to get over the hump, and if you think about if they keep Daniil Hunter and people like that there. They brought Patrick Peterson back, and if they draft really well, they won't have a lot of holes in their offense. And if they stay healthy, is the most important thing is the Vikings. Dalvin Cook stays healthy, Justin Jefferson, You
I
know,
wasn't expecting that.
yeah, Adam Thielen. If Kirk Cousins is able just to win a game, he's shown
See,
that
that's
he
the
can.
thing. That right there, you said it. Kirk Cousins. That's why I never ever will ever pick the Vikings, man. You know, when you sit there, listen, I think Kirk Cousins is the worst thing that ever happened to Minnesota. When you have a guy like Casey Keenum who took you all the way to the championship game, and even though he lost it, he got you there, and then you go out and pay $85 million guaranteed to Kirk Cousins, and he never even gets you close to it ever again. And let's not act like the man has never had weapons. He has had weapons. They might not have been healthy at times, but he's had them. Dude, like he's so underachieved, it's not even funny.
I think if Kirk doesn't pick it up, I'm a big Kellen Mond fan. I think he's just waiting, man. I think he's just waiting his turn. And Kellen Mond is going to impress people, and he's doing the right things.
I forgot he was even there, dude.
Kellen Mond is definitely he's the better version of Jordan Love is what he's supposed to be. And if they let him just marinate, and there should be no room for error with him. Like if he comes in and sucks, it's kind of how I felt about Carson Wentz going to the Colts. If you start with all those weapons and you suck, that's your own fault. I don't care what the coach is doing. You got as much talent there to get you out of what you need to do and get you out of trouble and to win games. There should be no reason why you should lose. They just need that little bit of talent just to win games, get over that little bit of the hump. And you got Kellen Mond, another quarterback, and, I'll use the term, came out the mud, man. Like Jimbo Fisher, regardless of what you say about him, that dude produces NFL quarterbacks regardless of how well that they do when they get there. But the guys are competent enough to be good.
Like Dak a little bit? Kellen Mond? Isn't he a
Kellen Mond, to me, is not really a game manager. Like he's going to improvise, but he does have a better skill set as far as running the ball too. So if they scheme a lot of RPOs around him, he'll do really well in that because he can get you out of trouble. And the kid's pretty big, man. Like I think he's like 6'4", 6'5", or something like that.
That's why I said he's kind of Dakish a little bit. Like he can get out of the pocket, he can move. Like even though he's a big dude, he's sneaky. You know, he can get away. But
he's got a huge arm. He can throw it down deep too, which that's scary when you have Justin Jefferson and the most underrated wide receiver in the NFL to me is Adam Thielen. I've been saying that for years. I think he's awesome.
Dude. Like, he was a walk-on for Christ's sake.
Yeah, from some school in Minnesota and playing for his dream team. Like he's gonna ball out every single week. He's got nothing to lose.
Yep, no, I feel you. I'm going with my original pick, man. Listen, I know that there's been a lot of hate going around for Derek Carr lately. I know a lot of people don't believe in him. You know,
I don't get the hate for the guy, man. I love Derek Carr.
Listen, it's not his fault. The last 4 years or 3 years, excuse me, he's been jaded there. Like, dude, between the head coach and everything that happened, with Gruden and then the AB situation and the Ruggs situation, dude, this team has just kept fighting. They made it to the playoffs last year. Hunter Renfrow is amazing. They have some really good defensive players on that line. Crosby's good.
They picked up Rock Ya-Sin, which is perfect.
Yeah, they got Jones, Chandler Jones there now. They got Devonte Adams. Yeah, like, dude, there's Crosby, everyone.
Darren Waller.
Dude, no lie. Derek Carr has dreamed about a team like this. And if you look back in 2015 when he had his MVP year, when he had Amari Cooper and he actually had some decent weapons, the kid did phenomenal. So he's only been praying for a team like this since then. And I'm telling you, man, if Derek Carr does not put up the freaking numbers that I'm expecting him to do, like, dude, nothing should stop this team. This team should roll through everyone.
Derek Carr and Devonte Adams together when they were at Fresno State, I believe Devonte Adams had over like 3,000 yards for his career there, and he only played 2 years. So what do you think is going to happen? They're going to turn up, and they've been wanting to play with each other. Like Devonte said, if I can't play with Aaron Rodgers, I want to play with my guy. He's going to Derek Carr, and I'm a bold prediction time. If he's not the leading quarterback in yardage and touchdowns next year, it would be an absolute travesty if they don't design the offense around those two. They can put up those type of numbers.
Bro, I'm going to say it right now. Derek Carr has 52 touchdowns next season.
Yeah, I probably think I'm probably around like 55.
Devontae Adams, there's no reason he shouldn't have 52 touchdowns.
They might break the record.
And then you add Waller in on that. Come on, man.
I don't think Waller's going to be the focus next year. I think Waller's going to play a completely different role next year.
But Adams will open up a lot for him.
Mm-hmm.
So his touchdowns will go down, but his yard count will go up. And I'm telling you, there's no reason that Derek Carr should have like 5,000 yards passing, and he should easily have like 50 plus touchdowns easily.
You remember the season where Randy Moss and Tom Brady broke the touchdown record?
Yeah.
That might happen this year. No bullshit. It might happen.
Yeah. And not just that, but they still have Josh
Jacobs
in the backfield. Do they have their backup still from last year?
You talking about Rashard? Believe. Let's see. Raiders.
No, wasn't it Drake? Kenyon Drake?
Kenyon Drake. Yeah.
Wasn't he the backup for him?
Yeah, Kenyon Drake is underrated too.
So if they got Drake, so they got Jacobs, they got Drake, they got Waller, they got Renfro, they got Adams,
Brandon Bolden, Amir Abdullah.
Yeah, dude, they're stacked. This team is stacked. I mean, there's no reason that they should not be able to win it all. None.
Yeah, it's gonna be insane, man. They're gonna look so good.
Yeah,
that the whole division, they might have 3 playoff teams.
Oh yeah, dude. In all honesty, it should be the Chargers and the Raiders in the championship game. If it all goes the way it should, that's the way it should be. So far,
those teams are good, man.
Yeah. Like I believe Kansas City took a step back getting rid of Tyreek Hill. I know they got Juju, but I think that's a major step back. That
they
was
must trust in McCole Hardman. And I like McCole Hardman, so he's gonna have to step up really, really big because a lot of people are like, "Oh, he took a back seat because Tyreek was there." We'll see this year because that's
a big security blanket for Mahomes. Like you took a huge security blanket away because he's one of those guys, dude. Mahomes could just throw it up and know, hey, he's either gonna get it or he's gonna make it very close. You know what I mean? He doesn't have that anymore, so. You know that
Kelsey might struggle a little bit too without him being there.
And I'm sorry, man, but Clyde Edwards-Helaire is not the answer. I'm sorry, but he's
I'm
not.
glad you agree with me on that. I've never been a Clyde Edwards-Helaire fan.
Yeah,
I don't know. Remember, he was the first running back chosen in that draft over J.K. Dobbins. I was like, what?
Yeah, no, I would have. Dude, J.K. Dobbins would have been a beast in that offense.
J.K. Dobbins is going to be the comeback player of the year this year.
Oh, dude. I'm telling you, Baltimore, they were – if they would have had Dobbins all year, we might have been looking at a different scenario. Dobbins is a beast, dude.
So they play that 3-4 defense, right? So check this out. The one weak spot that I've been trying to study on who they're going to draft – at 14, if this kid is here, you're going to be looking at the next generation of Baltimore defense, and it's going to blow your mind. I already know.
Who?
Baltimore selects with the 14th pick, Devin Lloyd.
Man, you team him with Patrick Queen, it's over.
Yes. Oh, my goodness gracious. Peter Boulware, Ray Lewis 2.0.
Who's the other dude they have besides Queen? Is it Okoye or
yeah, it's something away or Oweh. I don't know how you pronounce his name, but
he's actually not that bad either.
Yeah,
he's dude, but that's Baltimore though. They've always done that. If you think about it, Baltimore has always had a linebacking core. Always.
If they don't choose Devin Lloyd and Nakobe Dean is there, they're going to choose Nakobe Dean. So people better swallow those two up because they're going to Baltimore.
Now, here's my honest opinion, though. If you had Nakobe Dean, Devin Lloyd, and Jordan Davis sitting there, who do you think they'd honestly take? Because I truly think that they would honestly take Jordan Davis. I do, because that's just a move Baltimore would make.
Any one of them will work. I mean, if they're all there, that's beautiful. I think it's a coin flip on what you want to do. I think if you want to be dynamic and you go with the guy that Jordan Davis's thing is he played 50% of the snaps, so we all know that, but we know what he brings. Nakobe Dean, the thing about Georgia's defense in general, I'm gonna throw this out there, is you just don't know who exactly is going to be good because they were saturated with such good talent. So who knows how that's going to translate to the NFL? Because it's like somebody's going to suck out of this draft class, or multiple people might suck for that defense.
And I get it because, we've had the conversation and not even just with you, but with other content creators. Like there's a split. You either like Wyatt or you like Davis. The people who like Wyatt
was off the field.
Yeah, and the people that like Wyatt are the ones that are sitting there saying like Wyatt's the reason Davis was so good, and then the ones that like Davis are saying, well, Davis is the reason Wyatt was so good because of the double teams. When you're right, I mean, dude, how do you know truly who was great and who isn't great? Because this team has first round talent all over. Like there really wasn't a weak spot anywhere on this defense. So how do you – is that what we're truly going off of? Are they just all truly that great? Because if they are, then hell, every Georgia person should be gone by the end of the first round. No lie.
Yeah. So let's think about it. In the first two rounds, all the defensive players that they have in the draft are going to get eaten up. So you got Lewis Sign at safety. He's probably going to go in the second round. Nakobe Dean's probably going in the first. Trayvon Walker's definitely going in the first. Jordan Davis going in the first.
Yep.
Devonte Wyatt, depending on how his off the field issues, he's probably going to go in the first. And then you got that other kid at linebacker. I always forget his name. He's the other one that could go in the second round too.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, it's a coin flip on knowing which player is going to be good. Because you're right. Devonte Wyatt played most of the snaps, and then Jordan Davis came in and made him look spectacular too. So you got to understand the skill sets. It's more than just the leadership qualities like for Nakobe Dean. Because in my big board, I don't even have him in my top 15 because I don't think he's as valuable as a Trayvon Walker or Jordan Davis. But again, who knows which player is going to be good? This is what's going to be interesting next year when we reevaluate one of the best defenses that we've ever seen in college football history in Georgia's defense, right? But then just to reevaluate and say, really and truly, if they're all this great and they're all getting chosen in the first round, there should be hell for guys to be voting who's going to be defensive rookie of the year, in my honest opinion. If they're all as talented as each other, it should be like, dang.
Well, and no lie, dude, if they're all this talented, there's no reason that every single one of them should not be Hall of Famers.
That too. But
no lie. I just
feel like
they played like it in college. You know what I mean? Like they all were just dynamite. So if you can continue that success into the NFL, there's no reason that you can't sit here and look back and say that the 2022 NFL draft had the best Georgia defense ever.
And just to think about it, the weak point of their defense was their secondary. And Lewis Sign was the best safety in the SEC. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's crazy. How can I don't know. I can't.
I would love to have Sign on this defense in round 2, man. Like if they chose safety in 2 and they got Sign, I wouldn't bitch about that. I really wouldn't. I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, he's another one that's jack of all trades, good at a lot of stuff, but not a master of anything. And he'll be able to find his way. And being a versatile player, you can just fit in any type of defense. And Georgia's defense was just, they were NFL ready wherever they go. And all those players are just so different. And another crazy thing is too, AK, think about Jermaine Johnson and where we're putting him. He went to Florida State and became like defensive player of the ACC. He
Yeah.
used to be on that defense at Georgia. And the only reason he transferred out is because they were so saturated. So really and truly, there's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Georgia players really that could go in the first two.
And what's even crazier, dude, if you think about it too, is Jamison Williams. He transferred from Ohio State, right?
He did
to Alabama because they were too crowded. He was like, "No, I got to go somewhere to get seen," and he went to Alabama and bowled out.
And he went to Alabama, another place that was saturated.
Yeah. So and he ended up being number 1 there. So technically, you got 3 top end Ohio State wide receivers / Alabama guy.
That's a great comparable to what we're going to see with Georgia, man. Like this draft is not exciting when you talk about players outside of like Kyle Hamilton when you think about talent, right? But everybody else is just like, we really don't know. This is a wild card draft. And at the end of the year, we're going to sit here and evaluate who really was good. Because it could damn near be George Karlaftis with the most sacks out of all edge rushers. You know what I'm saying? And he was the most consistent.
Yeah, and you know, that's what's great about it, man, is if we're going to look back on this and you look at all this talent. Like, for instance, one of the top defensive ends in this draft was Ojabo, right? Ojabo is nowhere near the talent that Hutchinson is, okay? A lot of people believe Ojabo was only that good because Hutchinson took a lot away from him. Now, granted, Ojabo is a raw talent. I think he's only played football for, 2 years?
Yeah.
But the destruction that kid created with only having 2 years under his belt is why he is one of the top prospects in this draft. Because you don't even know what his full potential is yet. And if he's already this good with only 2 years of football, holy crap, imagine what he's going to be in 4. So I get that hype. But that's what I'm saying. Like, you look back in this draft, man, this could be one of your best drafts you've ever seen, or it could be one of the worst. Because after the first, 6 or 7, everything's questionable. They could be really, really great, or they could be honestly not as good as what you thought they would be.
To be honest, every single player in this draft has issues. Every single one of them has glaring issues, and one is not better than the other. It just depends on how you want to evaluate those issues, right? Like last year, we had no question on who the best players were. They got drafted. They proved it. We already knew that draft class was talent-filled. You come here, and it's like their ceiling is very high. You hear that a lot this year.
Yeah.
Their ceiling is very high. Like Sauce Gardner, for example, I think he's going to be one of the most overhyped receivers. And he only covered Jamison Williams 3 times in the CFP, had -2 yards, against him, but he didn't. If he was the number 1 guy, why didn't he cover Jamison Williams the whole game? Jamison Williams showed out in that game, so it's like he's got issues too. Kyle Hamilton's issues is he's injured and slow. Kayvon Thibodeau's thing is he's not very good with his hands. But he has other skill sets, and he's injured. You know, it's nobody's the clear number 1 guy here at all. To me, it's, the guy that I think has the less flaws is Matt Corral, but he's not going to get chosen in the first round. And not a lot of teams are going to need a quarterback right away. People are starting to trust more in their quarterbacks, like you guys and the Texans, obviously, with Davis Mills. They saw what they saw, and they're obviously investing with the Brandon Cook signing. But there's not a clear favorite here. And that's what's so interesting about this.
Well, and that's what I was meaning. Like, no lie, after you get past the Hutchinson, the Thibodeaus, the Hamilton, and then you know what those guys are pretty much going to be. That's your top echelon 5-6 dudes right there. And then it falls off.
Yep.
Like usually, like last year, you could sit there and you could say, well, the first 10, 11, 12 picks here, they're going to be pretty decent, and they're going to be the next big things coming out. And you look, Parsons, he was 11. I forget who was taking 12, but a lot of these guys really showed up and showed out from this last draft class, in the first round.
There's no Micah Parsons in this draft. There is.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So the talent really falls off after the first 5. Like the first 5, you can sit there and say they're guaranteed to be something. But
Yeah,
right
you guys
after
know
that,
Jamar
man,
Chase.
there's no more guarantees.
We're not going to see Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle this year. I can almost guarantee you that. Like, people are going to be trying to find a place for a lot of these wide receivers. It's a ton of talent, but nobody is like that generational talent like Jalen. Everybody knew Jalen Waddle was going to be good. Everybody knew Jamar Chase was going to be good. Even before that, I knew Justin Jefferson was going to be good. But if you're looking for consistency in a lot of these players, I say the most consistent people on this list, Akeem Aquanu from NC State. I think he's versatile. He played left and right tackle. He's consistent. Chris Olave is consistent. Boye Mafe is consistent. And I hate to say this because I'm not a Florida fan, but Kyer Elam is probably the most consistent cornerback in this draft. And those are like the
I
four
like
that,
you.
yeah, and those are like the four guys that I think are the most consistent, that have the less flaws out of all of these guys, and they don't get injured a lot. And if you just look at the tape, they just were consistent. But
And not even them guys are even guarantees.
exactly,
It's crazy. Because
exactly.
I'm with you. I really like Elam. I really like Moffa, but just because I like them doesn't mean they're guaranteed to turn out to be anything special. They have all the talent in the world, but
it could be Jalen Petrie, like we've been observing, who's not getting enough love from everybody. That could be the best player in this draft because he's just so good at playing cornerback and safety and can play slot, and you can move him up and be like a fourth linebacker to help you out at safety. So it's like, what do you really? I think Derek Singler Jr. and Kyle Hamilton are generational talents just by the tape, but they have injury issues, which is their biggest knock for them.
So I gotta ask you to end the show then, man. This is how I want to end it, and it's a good one. Out of all the players in this draft, who's the one player that isn't getting the most love that you feel is going to be like at the end of the year, everyone's going to turn around and be like, "Wow, that was the one."
That's not getting enough love.
That's going to end up being something real special.
We're going to go back to the guy that I mentioned before in the conversation that I said was the most consistent. I think George Karlaftis is going to be the guy that's like, holy hell, he was Kayvon Thibodeau and Aiden Hutchinson combined for a team. I think he's the guy. He didn't put up big numbers at Purdue, and a lot. I mean, let's just call it like it is. People in the chat, people that talk about this stuff every day, outside of myself, I believe, have sat there and watched the tape on George Karlaftis, and it's like, there was some guy, I think it was in your chat. He was like, I said, name 3 games that you think that he had problems with, and he named Michigan. I'm like, they didn't even play Michigan last year, so you didn't watch anything. But with that being said, George Karlaftis is consistent in tackling, which is important for any defensive player. He has more moves than what Aiden Hutchinson has. And that side, he can play either left or right edge and just get you what you want. And he's a great leader and a great teammate from everything that you hear about this guy. He has a complete package. And I think, if he goes to a team like Minnesota, who has Danielle Hunter on one side and he can just be destructive on the other side, that would be very good for them. And then also, if you guys are wanting to pick up an edge guy, I think he would be very good with you guys too, as well. But, I think he could go to pretty much any team and do well because his skill set is so wide. But at the end of the year, I think that's the one guy that we're like, yeah, he only put up 4 sacks in, his last year in college, but damn, was he destructive. You remember Ryan Kerrigan, like his first 4 years?
Yeah.
That's I think that's his NFL comparable. The first 4 years of Ryan Kerrigan's career with, Washington. And just people are like, dang, Ryan Kerrigan had 12 sacks, 13, 14 sacks this year, and a couple forced fumbles, but didn't stand out on tape, for a lot of people. So I think that's the guy right there, man.
All right. Well, I'm gonna leave you with mine. I said his name a little earlier, and I'll give him another one. I think Asamoah from Oklahoma, the linebacker, is honestly gonna. Out of all these linebackers, Lloyd and Dean and Harris, everybody's giving him all love. I think he hasn't got enough. I think he's very underrated, and he's gonna prove that. I think he's gonna come out here and make a pretty good impact this year.
Yeah, Brian Asamoah. Yeah, he's going to be. He's very, from what I've seen on the tape, man. He's very athletic. he's got a very high motor, more so than a lot of these guys.
Mhm.
Like he's gonna be. I'll tell you his NFL comparable if if he turns out to be this way, it's gonna be like Joey Bosa. Not necessarily gonna get you as many sacks as Joey Bosa, but that high motor that those Bosa brothers have. A
Mhm.
lot of people are saying that's Aiden Hutchinson, and I'm like, Aiden Hutchinson has one move: inside, rip out, get to the quarterback. But if you're
Yeah.
talking about a high motor, Brian Asamoah has like the highest motor out of probably a lot of the linebackers out here. So he's just going to be relentless. But that's a very good one. I agree with you there.
So, well, hey, man, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming on, talking football with me. It's fun to talk all football and not just one team.
Yeah,
So
man, for sure. Get some variety in for sure.
yeah, definitely, and I appreciate you being in the chat all the time and talking. So
Yeah.
thank you for the support. But until next time, everybody, I'm AK Eagles from the AK Eagles podcast. And I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Please remember to like, subscribe to the channel. More likes on the videos, the more they get out there for everyone to see. And the more people see it, the more subs I get. So appreciate it. And until next time, peace out.
Thanks, guys.